Players in positions then. Enright starts on Hodge. That's interesting. Outside the centre square. Rioli, who finished in a blaze of glory last week and almost single-handedly put down Fremantle, is picked up initially by Josh Hunt. Umpire McBurney's got the football. Just looking around, I'd say it's a Hawthorn house. Plenty of gold and brown as we start Saturday night football on 3AW and relays and on the net around the world. The bounce goes towards Renoff. The late inclusion taps it down. Barco came off the line, wins the ball, gets a hand pass to Kelly. He in turn gets a hand pass to Chapman. He ran into a dead end but was taken too high by Renoff. So the free kick to go to Chapman. Swings it out very wide, intended for Taylor Hunt. Gets in a competition there with Mitchell from behind and interferes. So Mitchell gets the free at left half back.
Hawks kicking to the punt road end in this opening term. National Builders scoreboard yet to get a score after 1.5 minutes of plays. Mitchell, handball to Birchall. He goes short. Shields, centre wing broadcast side. Kicks out toward left half forward. Hodge was the intended target. He was holding on to his man though. And Corey Enright will get the free at right half back. Good crowd in. It's probably still building as Rowan said. People just trying to get their cars into the car park as Enright goes short. Spots up Selwood for his first possession of the night. Still defensive side of the wing. Doesn't have an option forward. So he'll retreat back about 20 metres and Tom Lonergan will take it still at right half back.
Lonergan having a very good year. Pretty much a journeyman coming into the season. Goes short to Enright. He marks it right on the defensive 50. Goes across the ground to Taylor. Taylor drives it long down towards left half forward. Now a real chance for them. Taylor Hunt goes after the footy. It pulled up like a shot, a wet shot to the green, and as a result it didn't run on for him, but Bartel gets it, kicks it down towards the pocket, got a hand pass from Vardy, and there the ball runs out of bounds, so we'll have a throw in. Bit stiff there, the Cats. Had it just run on and sat for Hunt, he could have run inside the 50 and had a shot at goal.
Boundary throw in. Cats deep into attack from the throw in. Trying to get the pick up was Bartel. Was pushed off the ball. Fed up a little handball. Podsy Adley had it stolen away from him. Good work from Schoenmakers. A chain of handballs. Ends up with Young. He releases off to Birchall. Back pocket. Wanted to get a short little pass to Shields, but nice diving effort from James Kelly. Punched it away at a boundary throw in. Still inside attacking 50 for the Cats at the city end. Brad Johnson.
Some big matchups. Lonergan has got the job on Franklin. Enright on Hodge right on centre wing.
Boundary throw in, controlled down by Renoff, did nicely, gave it to Gibson. He hand passes to Sewell, who lost it, comes across to Selwood, back comes Sewell, and the pair take the ball out of bounds. Two tough hombres.
Another interesting matchup too, Jono. Chapman with Jordan Lewis.
Boundary throw in right on the 50 then. Early going on a Saturday night here in Melbourne. Socket off the ground by Chapman towards the boundary, and the boundary umpire will do the honours again.
So slow start early here at the MCG. Saturday night footy. Cats and the Hawks. 60 metres around from goal for the Cats. Ball spins back in. Otten's back of the pack. Was able to palm it down, but only as far as Burgoyne. Handball to Lewis. Releases to Sewell. All across half back to the Hawks. He got a handball to Birchall. Now Birchall just kicks out wide. The Hawthorn captain by himself. Hodge. Still defensive side of the wing. They just keep it on this northern side of the ground, the Hawks. As Hodge short to Shields.
You see the Cats here, Shane. They're really trying to crowd up this, trying to restrict what we just seen then, an easy uncontested mark for the Hawks.
Every Geelong player on the members' side of the ground too, Jono.
It's unbelievable. It's like a game of Little League.
Really cramping up the space as Birchall finds a man free in the centre of the ground. That's going to be his teammate in Suckling as he moves it forward. Not a great kick. It's going to be cut off by Vardy, but just getting onto it is Schoenmakers. Was able to take on the big man Vardy. Chips it in centre half forward. Cyril Rioli with a bit of space took the mark. Still 52 from home. Goes long on the left. Up to the goal square. Buddy Franklin went back with the ball. Took it on his chest. But he's going to be on a tight angle here, Jono.
He is. I think the kick was meant for Renouf, who was standing in the goal square by himself, but he floating back and able to take a good mark on Scarlett.
Almost sailed the distance, the kick from Cyril as Buddy comes around, snaps it back on the left. Buddy gets the first of the night. Hawthorn 1 straight 6. Geelong yet to score. National Builders scoreboard. More home, more value, more care. Graham Bond for Europcar.
A great start to both sides, but inside 50, 1 Hawthorn, 1 goal. Geelong just the one inside 50. The Hawks have dominated disposals. They've had 10 more possessions, 22-12, and also they've laid a couple more tackles and they've won a couple more contested possessions.
It's reminding me a bit of the first clash, Jono. Buddy started on fire in that one too. It dried up for him thereafter, but they do look on, the Hawks.
It did. They took a risk with the kick too, then a couple of kicks back into the middle of the ground, because Geelong were all set up, as Shane said. All players were on centre wing, which was quite interesting to see.
Umpire McBurney to bounce it down. The opening goal goes to the Hawks. One down by Ottens, this bounce into the path of Chapman. Hacks it out of midair. Follows his own ball down towards left half forward. Grabs it. Kicks inside the forward 50. Bouncing footy. Eludes a couple. Runs towards the goal line. Getting back is Guerra. And like a base runner going to second, he slides across the line, complete with the footy. And it's a behind. So the opening score for Geelong. And they trail by 5 points. That's on the National Builders scoreboard. Guerra kicks in. In front is Kelly, having his best year in the AFL. Knocked it forward. Opportunity in front for Duncan. Tackled by Lewis. Rolled over. Ball locked in. Umpire calls for it.
So we'll see a bounce right half forward for the Cats. City end of the ground. Rowan Connolly for Cracker Barrel.
It's a tame sort of start, isn't it, boys? I think everyone's just waiting for something to happen.
Bounce, ran off, tried to palm it down, went as far as Ling, got a kick away as he was tackled. Top of the goal square. Nice work wrestling to the front. Nathan Vardy had to beat his opponent.
I'll tell you who he looked like, Nick Revolt.
On the money. You've been reading the press today as on a very slight angle, only about 20 metres out, Nathan Vardy will line up for the Cats first of the night.
A good contested mark too. He had a little bit of show-maker's jumper, which he got away with, but just pure strength. He showed it last week. You mentioned that before the game, Dennis, and he's shown it again now, just that pure strength in the marking contest.
Just 19 years of age, 198 centimetres. Vardy comes in. As easy as that. Split the middle. Cats in front. 117. Hawthorn, 1 straight 6. Don't look at me like that. They're in front.
It's not about me reading the papers. I think it's about him reading the papers. And I think it might have had the desired effect from Geelong's point of view. Self-confidence, a remarkable thing, Shane.
It does help. 6.5 minutes gone. Opening term. National Builders scoreboard. Brad Johnson.
Well, comparing him to Nick Rewalt, I'm not sure about that. His kicking style looked quite good there. Not having a go at Nick's at all. But we mentioned his home club earlier. They'll be pretty happy with that result, Shane.
Now, just notice Chapman's come off for Geelong. Lewis has come off with him for Hawthorn. So I think you can conclude from that it's going to be a fairly hard tag on Chapman this evening.
Well, he's been getting a bit of the ball to start. Umpire Farmer that is, bounces it down. Ottens goes high, flicks it down behind, taken by Selwood. Hand passes forward, chopped off by Sewell of Hawthorn. Finds room in which to manoeuvre. Hand passes back to Murphy. Murphy a searching kick towards centre half forward, punched away by Lonergan. Onto the crumb, Rioli can't find a way through. Spills across to Mitchell. Hand passes to Osborne. Hand passes to Roughhead, back to Mitchell. Run down by Vardy, picked up by Lonergan. Hand passes away to Travis Hunt. He comes out wide and the mark is Taylor Hunt taken by Johnson. Johnson goes down towards Pods. Interfered with, no. Gibson finds the ball on the ground. Gibson came back in front of him. No free kick. Good work, Gibson then. He won the ball on the ground and found Savage.
Nice work from Savage to come across and take the mark. Now he releases a 25-metre kick to Rioli. Still defensive side of the northern wing. Took the mark in front of Mackie. He shifts back to half-back where it's taken by Roughhead. So the Hawks just retreating at the moment, and all of a sudden they're back inside defensive 50 to Murphy. He'll switch play. Southern stand side of the ground is Guerra, almost in the back pocket, takes the mark, chips short, Shields. The Cats very quick on the mark tonight, Jono.
Yeah, they are. They're really trying to crowd them up, just make them go back over the mark, give themselves an extra couple of seconds to get into position.
Shields goes short and square. Schoenmakers right up against the boundary line at right half back for the Hawks. He decides to go long along the outer wing. Players go up for the mark. Front position was Josh Hunt. Wasn't able to bring it down. Was able to get it off hands. Handball to Corey Enright. He releases to Scarlett. Whips a handball across to Bartel. Scarlett's still there. Centre wing outer side. Squares it up towards centre half forward. Coming through for the mark. Stevie J. Was he pushed? He was. Free kick. He's 55 from home, pops it inside 50. Stokes wanted the mark, punched away from behind by Tom Murphy. Great pressure. Murphy dives on top of the ball, trying to get it out. He's tackled by Stokes. And Stokes just with not enough intent going into the ball there, Jono.
Yeah, it was probably more the kick though. Stevie Johnson was on the back foot when he kicked it, that caused the ball to pop up and allowed Murphy to come in for the spoil.
Off hands, it comes to Birchall after the bounce. He hand passes across to Shields. Shields drives it towards the outer side wing. Mitchell, with those legs pumping, tracks it towards the boundary, but it beats him by about 2 metres. Sam Mitchell chasing in earnest that time, and he got the football. There was plenty of room up ahead. Boundary throw in. Renouf gets his right hand to it, directs it down. Picked up by Johnson. No, he left it behind. Had it, fumbled it. Comes wide of the pack. Mackey has it for Geelong. Hand passes to Kelly. Spears it across towards Taylor. Taylor the hand pass. Coming through nicely is Hunt. Hunt sends it long inside the forward 50. Podsiadly. Oh, terrific effort. He was battling too. It was body to body with Schoenmakers. Gibson arrived to make it even more difficult. In fact, body to body with Gibson. We'll start that again. And Schoenmakers is the first man to arrive and collided with Podsiadly. So mark or free kick, because the contact was front on. Podsiadly appeared to have the ball under control as Schoenmakers arrived a step late. But Pods has got it.
Looking at the Foxtel replay then, Dan, it was all about that. Schoenmakers just didn't turn and look at the ball and cause that front on contact, which created the free kick.
So one of our favourites. He's a rapper too. Likes Jay-Z. In he comes, and that is beautiful. Sweet. Great rhythm. Jay-Z not known for that. Podsiadly puts it through. 13 pays 6. And that's on the National Builders scoreboard.
Do you have a favourite Jay-Z hit?
No.
Bonnie, let's go around the grounds for Vic Super, the Super Fun for all Victorians. The Roos, an excellent start up on the Gold Coast.
Yes, at Metricon Stadium, North Melbourne lead by 19 points, 3-1, 19 Gold Coast Suns. Yet to score early goals to Scott McMahon, Lindsay Thomas and Aaron Edwards for the Kangaroos.
I can tell you, Dennis, they're keener on having your boy Vardy in the goal square than in the ruck. Brad Ottens came off before for no more than about 45 seconds, I reckon, for a spell. Back in the ruck now. Vardy back on straight up to the square.
And the two noticeable things at the moment are Geelong manning the mark very intently and then looking to go long into their forward line.
Ottens goes up against Raffet. Ottens won it down, but it's the Hawks who get the clearance through the middle of the ground. Trying to run onto it for Hawthorn was Whitecross, overran the ball, allowed Josh Hunt to get onto it, got a kick away as he was slung around, ended up in the hands of Enright. High up and under kick into the centre of the ground. Flying up high was Johnson, could only get a tap away. Picked up though by Puopolo. He kicks back inside attacking 50 for the Hawks. But Matthew Scarlett, the only player back there in the hoops, got a little pass to Selwood. Low trajectory kick, cut off by Shields. He's tackled, flicked the handball out, got it to Buddy. Buddy releases to Stool. Excellent transfer of the ball. Just what the Hawks had to do to penetrate the Cats' defence. And on the National Builders scoreboard, Hawthorn moved to 2 straight 12. Geelong 2-1-13. We've been going 12 and a half minutes into the first term. That was slick, fast play from the Hawks then, Jono.
It was very good on the back of Scarlett's chip out to Selwood. Selwood played on. He didn't need to. He should have gone back off the mark and then been able to spot up an opponent. Tried to play on. Osborne came in with some good pressure. Turnover, Buddy, goal assist to Sewell, who finishes with a nice goal.
He was just too casual there, wasn't he, Selwood? It was like he thought he had more time than he did.
Yeah, certainly. There was no change in pace in his movement. And coming out of the back end, that's the first thing you're taught going in as a player, is you're coming through there and you've got a tiny bit of space, put the afterburners on.
Now, Steve Johnson's just come off too, boys. Straight down the race into the rooms. Could be a leg injury.
Ottens goes up and wins this tap after the bounce. Socket off the ground by Chapman. It comes out wide. In fact, it's bouncing down towards half forward for the Hawks. In front is Franklin. There's step-to-step Joel Corey. Franklin still going. Earned about 20 metres. Socket off the ground eventually by Osborne. Picked up brilliantly by Kelly. High ball from Kelly back towards the wing. Podsiadly was up. One front position. Got his hands to it. Couldn't take the mark. He's tackled immediately by Guerra. And the umpire has called for the footy directly in front of our commentary position.
I think the one thing we noticed, there's nothing wrong with Buddy's calf. The way he attacked the contest that he just went for a minute ago was fantastic. His speed was very good.
Well, Sewell sprinted off after kicking the goal, and he's back on already. Now, that's really weird, because the sprint to come off would have been worse than just walking back to the centre and continuing on in the game as the ball goes down towards right half forward. Sewell is in there again. Geez, wholehearted. Takes a tumble. Loose ball, tied up, and the umpire lets them play. Renouf fires out a hand pass. After it goes Lewis. He immediately moves into the clutches there of Bartel.
And the umpire comes in and says, "Oh, bounce." National Builders scoreboard, Geelong 2-1-13, Hawthorn 2 straight 12. Stats analyzer Graham Bond for Europe Car.
Well, interesting, you mentioned Geelong trying to slow the Hawks down. So far the Hawks have taken a total of 13 marks for one play on after a mark.
Free kick's been found from the restart. It's going to go Geelong's way. It went to Corey. He got a handball to Hunt, to Mack. He was under pressure from Osborne. So put boot to ball, smacked it toward half forward. Going up, uncontested. Young Mitch Duncan takes the grab. Still a good 60 from home. Pops it in toward the right forward pocket. Pods on the lead. Got a bit of a push and shove as he went up for the mark from Osborne. Gibson rather, but he took the grab, Pods, and well, he's right up against the boundary line here, about 25 metres out from goal.
What about the kick from Duncan though? Pods did not have to lead. It was more about the kick. He kicked the ball to exactly where he wanted Pods to grab it at the high point, and it was just a fantastic bit of play by Duncan.
Easily won the contest against Josh Gibson, and now Pods. He shows he wants to come around on the angle. On the left, he snaps it back.
Oh,
just
wow.
Missed to the near side.
Well, good from here, didn't it?
I'll say.
We'll wait for the Foxtel replay on that one. Geelong 2-2-14. Hawthorn 2 straight 12. 16 gone first term.
I think the goal umpire was in the perfect position.
He was.
Pods is asking the question.
We had a pretty good one too, didn't we?
We did.
We were right behind the kick, and we're with Pods, but the goal umpire, as they say, much closer to it than we are. That cop out of defence. Suckling kicks it outside the defensive 50. Big leap down there by Vardy. Ball spills behind the pack, and there's going to be a free kick to Geelong. Advantage paid. Selwood was going to get the kick. Taylor sends it back towards full forward. Pods has taken the mark. Justice is done. Podsy Adley, point blank range, puts it through. Well, he wouldn't have that. He's got two. He wouldn't have got that goal had the last one been paid, we assume. So it's the old 7-point play on the National Builders scoreboard. Geelong at 3-2-20, Hawthorn 2 straight.
And once again, it was Taylor with a long kick inside, forward 50 for the Cats. Ottens was down there. That was the main target. Pods was able to sneak in there through the pack and take a good contested mark. And he didn't muck around that time. He just snapped it straight over his shoulder for a goal.
Bondi, let's go around the grounds for Vic Super.
Yes, at Metricon Stadium, North Melbourne continue to advance their score. They're at a 25-point lead, 4-2-26. Gold Coast Suns a pointers at North at another goal through Boomer Harvey.
Now, I mentioned Steve Johnson before. It's back out there, boys. He's okay.
8-point lead to the Cats midway through the opening term as Renoff won it down, but it's picked up by Kelly of the Cats. They go forward again. Duncan almost took the mark, was blindsided to it though. Tries to run onto it again, was able to flick it up to a teammate. This is Menzel. Handballs to Podsy Adley, 55 from home. Pops it back inside 50. Stevie J was the target. Couldn't take it. Murphy had it, was hip and shouldered off the ball. All this across half forward for the Cats. Bartel had it, fell over. Schoenmakers trying to get there for the Hawks, beaten to it by Chapman. Chapman a handball to Ling. He got a little handball to Duncan. Duncan couldn't quite get boot to ball. It spilled out right up against the boundary line. Savage, he's going to push it over. Well played, Shane Savage. And a boundary throw in 60 metres around from goal for the Cats City end. They're 20, the Hawks 12. National Builders scoreboard.
You can see, Jono, that Geelong are very conscious of the good starts Hawthorn have had in their early clashes. They're really putting the pressure on.
Really closing them down in the early part.
Boundary throw in. Sewell did the rucking, knocked it down, taken by Chapman, who was tackled high. So Paul Chapman in from left half forward, just chips it outside the 50 still, and it's marked by Kelly, but much wider. He's about 10 metres in from the boundary line, down towards the city end of the MCG. And the flag's hanging limp on the scoreboard, down in that pocket. Big leap down there in the square, almost the mark taken by Menzel. Came off his fingertips. Hawthorn quickly there in number, and the ball underneath a pack of players. Schoenmaker's the last one to get up. Menzel, interesting player, Menzel. He can jump, he can do all those things. He's very dangerous on the forward line for a little guy. Very similar to Jimmy Bartel. Long way to go to be Jimmy, but he can do stuff.
That's the
he's
thing.
Dangerous.
That's the thing about him, Dennis. Like Bartel, he's actually taller than you think he is.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
I know what you mean.
Left forward pocket for the Cats. They lead by 8 points. Ball spins back in. Ons just tried to grab it out of the ruck. Was able to knock it to Chapman. Had it. And, well, I was going to say lost it, but he was taken high in the contest. And it's going to be a free kick to Paul Chapman. Point blank range, albeit 25 metres out. but he should be able to slot this through. And the Cats just getting a few in succession at the moment, Jono, if he slots this one.
Yeah, I think he will slot this one. He's a fantastic hit. That's his third free kick already for a high tackle in this game. He's the best at dropping the knees and getting the arm around the head.
11-7. Not 7-11, but 11-7 for this season before the kick. Make it 12-7. Cats increase their lead to 14 points. 20 minutes gone first term. The Cats 4-2-26. Hawthorn 2 straight 12. That's on the National Builders scoreboard. Graham Bond for Europe Cup.
Well, the game's being played in Geelong's forward half. Inside 50s 10-4. 80% of the game time has been had in Geelong's forward half. We've had a total of 100 possessions in the game. Geelong have had 30 inside their forward half. Hawthorn have had it just 13 times up in their forward half of the ground. Paul Chapman now with 8 disposals, contested possessions, Jono. That's where the Hawks are dominating, the Cats are dominating, I should say, 28-17.
And that's the true reflection as to why they're getting so much dominance with the ball going inside forward 50 at the minute.
So we're in the centre. Another bounce. Geelong getting so much of the ball on their defensive side. That time Mitchell got across and chopped it off. Hand pass to Lewis. Lewis hand pass to Burgoyne. Kicks it down towards the 50. Josh Hunt comes up to meet the footy. Kicks it back towards the interchange gates. It just stays in. Suckling miscues with a hand pass. Comes to Selwood. And guess what? Selwood gets a high tackle. Goes across the ground, intended for Duncan. He's a good kid, this Duncan. Plays on immediately. Kicks inside the forward 50. Pontiadley! Oh, Pontiadley plays on. Varco goes in and just gets a goal. Unselfish play by the Pods. And Geelong are rolling now. 32 plays 12. And it's more the way they're doing it on the National Builders scoreboard.
That's right, and it was Duncan again. It was really, we watched the Foxtel replay, it was just his kick to advantage again. He didn't try and be too cute with his kick going inside forward 50, just put it in the right spot, and Pod's movement at the moment is really troubling Gibson. And great unselfish play, as you called, Den, with a little handball to Varco, who runs into pretty much an open goal and finishes it off.
This is a big night for Pontiadley. He's been a bit of a flat track bully. You know, he can do it tonight away from Skills Stadium against a highly rated opponent. Big night for him, and he started brilliantly.
And they're getting the hard balls. We mentioned that. And they're getting the free kicks 10-1 Geelong's way.
Ball back in the middle. Cats out to a 20-point lead. Kelly tries to get them the clearance again. Handballs backwards. Wanted Taylor Hunt. Went over his head. He's tackled by Shields. That is a great tackle, Liam Shields. The ball spills out. Selwood the pickup. Little handball to Ling. Ling managed to flick it out to Lonergan. Hard at the ball. He was tackled by Osborne, but got the kick away up toward the wing. No one able to take clean possession of it. Bounced up to Schoenmakers. Handball to Guerra. He released off by hands to Lewis. Right up against the boundary line. Snapped around his body. Bounced up for Burgoyne. He too flicked the handball out across half forward. Intercepted though by Lonergan. Handball to Kelly. High up and under kick towards centre wing. Broadcast side of the ground. Comes off hands. Lewis picked it up. As he got boot to ball, was shoved off by Duncan. Kicked it out of bounds on the full. The free kick to Kelly. He concedes ground to right half back. Mark taken by Lonergan.
Duncan having a good game so far. That was good pressure. Comes back to Scarlett. Scarlett to midfield, surrounded by Hawthorn players. That ball pinpoint accurate. Well, too clever by half by Johnson, who had taken the mark, tried to be a little too cute and gave it away. So too Hodge. He was pushed as he kicked, though. He was under more pressure. Went directly to Taylor, gave it to Corey. Corey kicks inside the forward 50. Downward Stokes. Hawks bring it out. Murphy, a hand pass, goes back to Guerra. Guerra comes out towards the wing. Bounces obligingly for Mitchell. Mitchell just jabs it forward. And Shields, who's been a good player for Hawthorn so far tonight, takes the mark and looks inside, and it's pretty dry. Goes looking for Hodge. Too tall for Hodge. Forced to soccer off the ground as he went back. In came Taylor of Geelong. Got a hand pass to Duncan. Stealing the ball away. Fuopolo. Well played. It comes to Shields. In front. Franklin on the lead. Knocks it down to his own advantage. Gee, he attracts a crowd. 3 Geelong players came to him. They made him the meat and the sandwich. Scarlett's got it. Under pressure. Out comes Savage. Savage a hand pass to Burgoyne. And the mark is taken in defence by Joel Corey.
So Corey, top of the defensive goal square, goes short and square, and that's Tom Lonergan taking the mark in the left back pocket. He goes short to Stevie J, a fair way from home. Pressure from the Cats outstanding tonight, Jono.
It's been very good from the outset. Look, tackles are even, but it's their pressure and then their ability to win the contested ball, which has been a highlight in this first quarter.
Cats get it off the last line of defence through Corey. He goes to another Corey, but Corey Enright at left half back. So Geelong just steady as she goes at the moment, maintaining possession. Steve Johnson loops a handball across to Scarlett at centre half back. He moves it to On, centre square, had support from Selwood, ducks and weaves, kicked into the man, that was Franklin, ricochets off, Taylor Hunt has it, a great tackle, Jordan Lewis, he should be rewarded, he stole the ball away from Hunt, got the handball to Franklin, he socked it off the ground, but out of bounds on the full, and it'll be a free kick to the Cats at right half back.
Well, it's been a high-paced first quarter and a little bit of fatigue starting to set in. Some of the skills in the last couple of minutes have dropped away.
3.5 minutes to go till quarter time then. Joel Corey's got the footy for Europe Carbondi. Joel Corey.
He's had a very good night. Possession number 5 coming up. Bartel with 7, Chapman with 8.
Kick towards the wing, off hands in front. Lewis gave a hand pass to Renoff. Weira gets a hand pass, slides the ball away to a teammate, and Osborne goes looking for Franklin. Jarred out of there by Joel Corey, picked up by Shields, hooks it down towards the pocket. Josh Hunt's in the road, spots in right to the opposite side. Ling is peeling off. Ling will get the football now. Looking down the track, Ottens is coming across hard. Will he go to Ottens? No, he holds onto the ball initially. Ling goes along the boundary line. What a beautiful kick. And Vardy coming up, kept running hard, has taken the mark on the wing.
Skidded into it, kicks toward left half forward, back of the pack. Bartel out the front. Menzel wasn't able to complete the mark. Murphy knocked it to the advantage of Guerra, run up against the boundary line. Little toe poker of a kick, but it went inside attacking 50 for the Cats. Bartel knocked it to Podsiadley. Handball to Selwood, got rid of it as he was tackled. Duncan tried to get in there. Everyone diving on the ball. Bartel in there too, got the handball up, but met by Birchall. Little one to Shields, 1-2 to Piopolo, back to Shields, handball to Osborne. Geez, they're doing it the hard way, the Hawks, as Osborne goes short and square to Savage, who kicks outside defensive 50. Shields again, what's he had? Europe Carbon, he's everywhere at the moment.
This is possession number 12 coming up for Shields.
Outstanding first quarter as he just chips back inside defensive 50 to Savage, not sure where to go. Low trajectory kick as Mitchell comes through for the mark, moves it up toward the wing. Gibson with time and space. Centre wing, northern side of the ground, takes the grab. He's waiting for players to move forward for him. He goes to a contest, wanted Lewis. Going up too early there was Duncan. Lewis at the back, knocked it onto Hodge. Toyota logo broadcast side as Hodge, handball to Shields. Shields releases out wide, getting onto it for the kick is Young. Goes long toward the goal square. It's always offline. And a minor score results for the Hawks. 2-1-13 Hawthorn, Geelong 5-2-32 as we approach quarter time. Saturday night footy from the MCG.
Great start by the Cats. 1:36 to go. Mackey to himself, drives to the outer side. Good kick too. Harry Taylor got hands to it. Unusually, he dropped the football, but the hands were knocked apparently.
Getting a bit antsy, the Hawthorn supporters, guys.
Are they? With you or with their team?
Oh, they're always antsy with me. Don't worry about that.
So Harry Taylor, all Australian, from half back, sends it high towards the outer side wing. Off hands, it falls behind. Ling is there in a battle with Suckling. Spills wide. Players stay on their feet. They're all Geelong. It's gathered by Corey. All the Hawks are on the deck. He goes back to Johnson. Johnson with a hand pass. That's better. Did the simple stuff simply, Jono. Kick inside the forward 50 from Mackey. Brilliant gather down there by Selwood. Got the hand pass away to Duncan. Deep in the pocket. A centering kick comes from Bartel. Opportunity behind the pack for the Hawks to clear. Gathered by the big guy Renoff. Gives it back towards a teammate there in Lewis. He goes out very wide. It bounces out of bounds in front of Savage.
Well, the Cats trying to be a little bit cute then. Bartel with the centering kick trying to be a little bit unselfish, but in saying that, when the ball hit the deck, the pressure was on.
Hawks can ill afford to concede here as from the boundary throw in Piopolo. Handball to Savage, got it to Suckling, still under pressure. Savage got it out. Lewis still across half back. Mitchell knocked it to the advantage. Suckling in there again. It spilled out to Roughhead. They've moved it up toward the wing. Buddy Franklin met hard by Taylor Hunt. It came out to Mitchell. Mitchell a handball to Suckling. Suckling releases to Young right up against the boundary line, but they've lost it as Mackey comes through for the mark. Just gives a little shake of the hand, says to his teammates, let's slow it down. You can see it's about 40 metres back to centre half back as Enright takes the mark, short to Josh Hunt, and that's quarter time. I don't know know what the boos are for, because I thought that was a pretty darn good quarter of footy, particularly from the Cats.
Try the free kick count.
5-2-32 Geelong. Well, that's it. Hawthorn 2-1-13. National Builders scoreboard. More home, more value, more care. Goals for the Cats. James Ponziadley has 2. Could have almost had 3 had he not have given one to Travis Varco. Singles also to Chapman and Vardy, while for the Hawks, Brad Sewell and Lance Franklin have the goals for them. Quarter time here at the MCG. The Cats 32, Hawthorn 13.
Well, great start, wasn't it, Shane? It really was by Geelong. And look, it was contested possession inside 50s. Bondi will go through all the stats at the minute, but it was the pressure around the contest that allowed Geelong then to not only, it was perceived pressure as well. Man in the markup was very, very good. Slowed the Hawks down, which then allowed them to kick the ball high, and back the other way it went.
Hawks with all the work to do with thanks.
They've got 2 goals from those free kicks.
You are my inspiration, John. I always have been. Bounce back in the middle. One down by Otten's. Opportunity out of there for Selwood. Gets boot to ball towards half forward. Puopolo comes up and takes the mark.
He's set now. Sorry, Den. His ling's gone straight to Hodge in the opening bounce.
Puopolo goes short, finds Guira. And now there's going to be a free kick as there is going to Hodge, who was put down late by Ottens, who hand passes to Guira. So not much changes. He goes out wide, taken by Gibson, goes long down towards the pocket. Off hands close to the boundary line. In goes Rioli. He's been kept in check, and the ball spills out of bounds.
Geelong 5-2-32, Hawthorn 2-1-13 to the Hawks. City end. That's where they kick in this second term. Boundary throw in. Renoff taps behind him. Shields trying to get onto it. Paddle to the advantage. Lewis gets around a couple, including Varco. Snaps around on the left. Jordan Lewis. Good guy's goal of the day. That's for Loffra cooking. Pay less, pay cash. Hawthorn 3-1-19, Geelong 5-2-32. They did it in the opening 60 seconds, exactly what they had to do. Jono, nice work there from Jordan Lewis. Had to get around Varco and Selwood. Did so, in a nice goal too. Yeah,
it was a very good goal. I think Geelong would be disappointed with their setups then at that stoppage. They had too many players, too many free players goal side. Hawthorn win the tap going away from goal. That's where their numbers were set up, and Lewis was able to come through and kick a nice goal.
Gee, that was timely, wasn't it? They needed that one, and they get the early goal to start the second term. They were 19 points down. Now it's back to 13, obviously. Got this bounce back in the middle. Ottens against Renoff, a late inclusion. Bailey, the man out, spins off hands, taken by Kelly, smothered off the boot. Shields again, he's been in everything. Comes wide to Franklin. Franklin, a hand pass to Hatch, who slipped. And that got him into terrible trouble. He's caught holding the ball. He just slipped into the arms of Kelly. Kelly wants the footy. Hodge reluctant to give it up, and between the pair they just waste a lot of time. Kelly wants to play on now, allowed to, kicks to half forward. Johnson takes the mark, and that could well be 50. He was grabbed as he'd taken the mark and dragged down, but the umpire said it was in play. He was in the contest. Short one comes in for Duncan, missed it. Lurking behind Corey, upended. Hand pass comes from Shields. Now it's with Guira. Guira put a teammate Roughhead under pressure. Hand pass to him when he was flat-footed, but gets it back. Goes out wide. Whitecross.
Been quiet tonight. Brendan Whitecross has it defensive side of the southern wing. Doesn't have an option in short, so kicks very, very long to left half forward. Buddy has to beat too. Just palmed it down, but Geelong with numbers. Corey, handball to Vardy. He links up with Kelly. Tackled. Umpire says play on. Chapman gets in on the action too. He's all wrapped up. And the umpire comes in, says, I'll toss it up. Just forward of the outer wing for the Hawks. 19 plays 32. Early stages, second term. 3AW, 6PR, 5AA, Saturday night footy. As the Hawks try and clear it through Lewis. He can't get the ball anywhere. Selwood waiting for it.
I'll tell you what,
and
boys.
We'll see another bounce. Go, Ro.
You do wonder about those rotations sometimes. Luke Hodge was on the ground for all of 2.5 minutes before he came off for a spell.
Bounce on the outer side. Can't make sense of a lot of that. We mentioned earlier when, who was it? Sewell came off and raced straight back on. And the coach is up in the box. Maybe he wanted to talk to him. Duncan advances the ball about 20 metres, and guess what? Hawthorn got a free kick. Puopolo was pushed in the back according to the umpire. Hand passes to Franklin. Goes short, and maybe they got another one. Shields. Hand passes from the prone position across to Mitchell. Mitchell goes very short and finds Young. Now off the ball there's a Hawthorn player down. That's Franklin. Didn't see what happened, but it's going to be 50 metres to the man with the football.
Yeah, we look at the Foxtel replay, Den. Bartel on the mark, just blocking Franklin's runners, who's running back towards goal. Franklin goes down. 50-metre penalty.
Young finds himself in the goal square for Hawthorn, and the Hawks convert again. Fast start, second term, they're right back in it. The margin just 7 points on the RACB Business Insurance scoreboard here on 3AW. It's Hawthorn 4-1-25. 2 goals in this term, both to Hawthorn, and Geelong a 5-2-32.
Well, Hawks getting stuck into Bartel as they go back into the middle of the ground. I think Geelong fans just seen the replay, but the bump was there. It was forceful enough to send Buddy to ground.
I think he may have milked it a little bit.
A little bit, but there was still enough force in there, I think, to just create enough attention towards the umpire, and that's what the umpires look for. They know players will go to ground. It's just whether there's enough force in it.
It's almost like Buddy set it up. He was running towards him and thought, what are you going to do about it? Not bad play in the end. 7-point ball game in favour of the Cats. Bounds favoured Renoff, but Ons was able to palm it down, but only to the advantage of Savage. Got a handball to Mitchell, almost taken high. Umpire said play on. Mitchell got the handball to Roughhead. He's tackled by Kelly and Varco, and we'll see a bounce just forward of the centre for the Hawks. Graham Bond.
Hawthorn doing well this quarter. 19 disposals to 8 contested possessions. They're ahead 6-5.
Bounce, ran off, and Ottens wrestle. Ottens won it away. Young tried to get onto it. He was slung out of it by Bartel. Ball comes to ground again. It's not going anywhere.
I was just going to say, Jono, it looks like the momentum in this game goes with whichever side's winning the hard ball, and at the moment that's Hawthorn.
Definitely, and you got Roughhead coming up to the contest, allowing Taylor to sit back as the spare for Geelong.
Crowd built impressively in the last half hour here at the MCG. Kelly trying to get the clearance, but getting onto it was Young. And as he did so, he was tackled for about 5 metres by Menzel until he was eventually brought to ground, and the umpire will come in and bounce for the 3rd time in 60 seconds. Geelong 5-2-32, Hawthorn 4-1-25. That's all on the RACB Business Insurance scoreboard.
Bounce adjacent to the centre circles. It falls down towards Selwood. In goes Mitchell. Mitchell grabs the ball. He's grabbed in turn. Umpire lets them play. Mitchell advances the ball about 2 paces as the whistle sounds. So they were bullocking him there for little result. So umpire Fletcher, or rather Farmer, to bounce it alongside the centre circles again. In front, Renoff was held. He'll get the free kick. So suddenly Hawthorn are getting some free kicks, which is warming the cockles of the hearts of their supporters. A hand pass goes to Mitchell, to Young, searching kick, deep into attack. He's got a good foot as Young, off hands, opportunity for Lonergan. Push in the back by Franklin, lurking at the back of the pack. Pushed Lonergan towards the football. Lonergan paid the free. Plays on to Josh Hunt. Comes out and finds Menzel at left half back. Like Menzel a lot. From Central Districts. Oh, goes back towards the pocket. Fell short of the man it was intended for, Lonergan. Now they've got more problems. Picked up by Burgoyne to Rioli. Snaps goal. Good guy's goal of the day for Loughborough Cooking. Glum-looking Brad Scott, or rather Chris Scott, in the, could have been the other, in the coach's box. No good judgment when it comes to that, but suddenly you've seen this game in the space of 5 minutes just turn on its head. He looks very disconsolate, and Hawthorn now up and about, and Geelong have got to extinguish this flame quickly.
Well, one Scott brother is having a good night up north. Bondi, if they swap places for the night, North Melbourne in control for Vic Super.
Yeah, absolutely. They're lining up for another goal. They currently lead by 42 points. 8-3-51. The Gold Coast Suns have kicked a goal. They're 1-3-9.
They'd have to be annoyed, wouldn't they, the Geelong coaching crew? I mean, there's 2 goals given away through just silly errors.
1-point ball game here at the MCG. Blockbuster living up to that status as out of the middle, Roughhead just knocked it on. Varco got a little handball out to Menzel. Great work though from Whitecross to intercept. Got a handball to Puopolo, centre wing out of sight. He released by hands to Mitchell. Wanted to kick long, but coming across to cut it off was Enright. He moved it back up to centre wing where Corey took the mark. Low trajectory handball, got it to Stokes. Kick toward right half forward. Coming through for the mark, Stevie J. Still a good 55 from home. Wanted to call lead. Stops, props, now gets on with it. Long high kick up toward the goal square. Pod had to beat Schoenmakers. Couldn't, and Schoenmakers will get the free kick. Hawks fans yelling and screaming anytime they get a free. What is that free kick count, Bondi, for Europe Cup?
Well, it's evening up this quarter, Shane. It was 12-1 in the first quarter Geelong's way. This quarter it's 4-2 Hawthorn's way.
So what point do the Bronx cheers stop?
Well, They haven't stopped yet, have they?
Nope.
No, it's just congratulatory booing at the moment, or yelling, or screaming, or whatever it might be, because they're getting a roll on, free kicks, and on the scoreboard, close to the boundary line. Duncan got an involuntary boot to ball, kept it in. Geelong, one of their few sorties inside their forward 50. Gibson trying to work his way through the pack, gives it across to Mitchell. Eventually they work it out. No play on was the call initially. Now the umpire is bringing it back. So Geelong fans deciding they will reply in kind to the Hawthorn fans.
Advantage, no advantage.
Yeah, well, that's something that will be different, I'm sure, next year. Short one comes to Suckling, who chips it to midfield. Well, short of midfield, but Shields has got the football and decides not to put it to midfield yet. Comes across the ground to Murphy.
Murphy moves it up to the wing, man all by himself. Birchall, he can go for a run. Scarlett gives chase, but he was a good 20 metres back as Birchall pops it inside 50. Buddy, 2 grabs of the cherry, couldn't complete the mark. Ball spills out, Taylor Hunt. Ball bounced the wrong way. Sewell skids onto it. He's got support. Puopolo, the little handball to Hodge, kicks toward the goal square. Whitecross spins, goal. He didn't know which way to turn, Brendan Whitecross. But he gives the Hawks the lead, 6-1-37. Geelong 5-2-32. 10 minutes gone, second term. That's on the RACV Business Insurance scoreboard. Brad Johnson.
Well, the last 3 times the Hawks have gone inside 450 when they've scored a goal, it's because they've been able to keep it in there through a fair bit of pressure, which is a turnaround. It was all Geelong doing that in the first quarter, and that's what the Hawks definitely have identified at quarter time. The fact they need to work harder at keeping the ball inside forward 50, and they're certainly a missed tackle from Scarlett there. He'll be disappointed, and a good goal.
Well, Whitecross had a hand pass in the first quarter. That was his only possession. He's jumped up this quarter. He's had 4 disposals for the game now. He's kicked the goal. Sam Mitchell dominating with 5 possessions. Hawthorn 38 touches to Geelong's 22 for the quarter.
After the bounce, Rioli emerges with the football this time for the Hawks. It's non-stop. He kicks inside the forward 50. Burgoyne the crumb. Franklin will get the goal. Goes in point-blank range. This is a remarkable transformation. Geelong dominated the first term. They led by 19 points at quarter time. In an actual playing time in this term, we've played 6.5 minutes. And in that time, 5 goals have been kicked by the Hawks. 5 straight. They're 7-1-43. Geelong are 5-2-32. And suddenly Geelong right out of answers.
And watching the Foxtel replay then, Luke Hodge, I don't know whether you've seen it from ground level, but his contest against 3 Cats then, that's what caused the goal.
It's just all coming out of the middle, isn't it? I mean, Geelong set the tone in the middle in the first quarter, right from the first bounce this second quarter. Hawthorn has just dominated, and having Rioli in there, he's just wizardry with the takeaways.
Centre bounce clearances 3-0 the Hawks in the second term.
Cats yet to score in this second quarter is out of the middle. Rioli got a knock on, but it was met by Ling. He just bombs it inside attacking 50, but it's going to be met by Murphy. He got a little handball away. Schoenmakers, little dribbler of a kick, met by Lewis on the wing. He got a handball to Renov. Now he wanted to palm it away. Cats though with numbers. It comes out to Stokes at centre half forward. Handballs to Kelly. Kick inside 50. Great mark, Pod. Great mark, James Podsiadly in front of Gibson. He quickly turned the pod then, John. I thought, can I hand pass this off? There was no one there. We thought, I'm going to make this mine.
Yeah, if he had taken 1 step forward, it was play on. But that was the first time in the quarter the Cats have been able to get some free-flowing possession, which has allowed this set shot at goal for James Podsiadly.
For his third. Very slight angle. Will kick from 30 metres out. On the left. Breaks the drought for the Cats. Geelong 6-2-38. Hawthorn 7-1-43. RACV Business Insurance scoreboard. 13 minutes gone. Second quarter. Let's go boundary side for Cracker Barrel vintage cheese. Extra sharp, Rowan Connolly.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. Podsiadly with Gibson. The runner's just been out to Gibson and had a word. He's had a fantastic year this season. Last week was probably his best game of the year that I've seen anyway, but he's really in trouble today. And look, full credit to Pods. He's grabbing him. He's kicking him straight. This is the performance we've been looking for from him away from Skilled Stadium and against a high-quality opponent.
I watched the runner go out as well, Rowan, and he did speak to Schoenmakers as well. So it's just unfortunate Ottens has gone deep, so Schoenmakers has to go to him. But when Ottens goes back up, it wouldn't surprise me if he goes over and plays on Pod.
So we're back in the middle. Good bounce. Rucks go at it. Up very high was Vardy. Came down towards Franklin, who started in the centre square. Down goes Lewis. Franklin trying to get the ball out of there. Tight situation. Big scrum around the footy. The umpire lets them go for a while, then whistles it up. No advantage there. So I'm reminded of that old football saying, never moon a werewolf. And that's what really Geelong did.
How long was that?
Yeah, that's right. It's been around for a heck of a long time. Out of the middle, deep into attack for the Cats, off hands. Podsiadly goes in and gets the goal. So having thumbed their nose at Hawthorn, made some silly mistakes. Suddenly they've got back on track. He's got 4, and he's the major reason. James Podsiadly. They lead by a point, Geelong, after being stationary for the first 10 minutes in this term.
Well, a missed opportunity there by Hawthorn. That's why the goal was kicked by Pods, with Schoenmakers dropping the mark, going back with the fly to the ball. But the Hawthorn have scored 3 goals from clearances or centre breaks this quarter. Geelong get one back then with a goal from a clearance, with Kelly getting a long ball in.
It's like a game at Etihad Stadium, isn't it, Jono? I mean, you get used at Etihad to seeing the centre breaks determine the scoring, but it's really like that on the bigger ground tonight.
It's accurate as well, 7-2 to 7-1.
Back to a 1-point ball game in favour of the Cats midway through this second term as Geelong at the clearance. Selwood, little kick. Bartel moves it up towards centre half forward. Front position. Duncan couldn't quite complete the mark. Under pressure from Birchall. Young tried to intercept, but it's flicked out. It comes to Ling. Kicks to the top of the goal square. The pot again.
He's on fire.
I'll tell you what, whatever inspiration Jay-Z has given him, Dennis, it's doing the job, because he will line up again directly in front for goal number 5, and we've still got 2.5 quarters remaining.
And if we're in the sort of JB or Jay-Z run, what am I talking about?
Well, you get Jay-Z at JB.
Using that, it was a drive-by mark, wasn't it? It just came out of the pack, and there he was.
Yes, he's in his own concrete jungle, that's for sure.
Podsiadly.
How about this?
Cats back in the game. He's the reason. 8-2-50. Hawthorn. 7-1-43. RACV Business Insurance Scoreboard. 13 RACV for all your business insurance needs. Bondi, we've got to check this on the Europcar stat sheet, just how this has changed around and exactly what James Podsiadly has done.
Well, he's kicked the last 3 goals of the game for the Hawks in this quarter, for the Cats in this quarter. His night so far, 5 marks inside 50. He's had 6 contested possessions. He's kicked 5 goals, 1. He's given 1 away to Travis Varco. He's had 9 disposals. So really, of the side's total score of 8 goals, 2, Podsiadly has been responsible for 6 goals, 1 of the 8 goals, 2.
Bounce in the middle. Ottens goes up and taps it down. Follows up, gets his own ball. Hand passes only as far as Lewis. He's tackled by Selwood. And again, we get that secondary bounce. Now, I don't think Pods has ever kicked 6 goals in the game. I reckon he's had about 5 fives.
All at skilled.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. All at skilled stadium. But suddenly he's on his best pace. You'd think the personal best is in the offing here. Something that would have to go seriously wrong. In fact, it might be coming up very shortly after the secondary bounce. Ottens was interfered with, gets a free kick and just sets it up. Podsiadly won't get to the contest. Big leap at the back by Osborne. Ball runs free, but Pods gets the crumb. Has a snap, but he's off target. Bounces out of bounds. He can do no wrong at the moment, James Podsiadly.
One thing that Leon Cameron spoke about before the game is Geelong can get a run on, and when they do, they need to slow it down. Their response to that is they've thrown a couple of numbers behind the footy.
Geelong deep into attack. Punt road ender comes off hands. Picked up though by Osborne. Last line defence. Handballs to Hodge. Releases to Sewell. Out of the back pocket. Took his jolly old time. Right up against the boundary line. The ball bouncing. But there's 3 Cats players at half forward. Picked up by Corey. One way then the other around Osborne. He took the ball over umpire. Doesn't matter. It's eventually handballed out. And a boundary throw in between wing half forward for the Cats. They lead by 7 points. Bondi, let's quickly check a score up on the Gold Coast for Vic Super.
Yes, North Melbourne well on top by 46 points, 8-7 to 1-3 the Gold Coast Suns.
Selwood, third man up, trying to get onto his own ball, still hard at it. Puopolo, he dived in there as well. Guerra, Selwood, both wrestle, and we'll see a bounce at left half forward for the Cats. 8-2-50 Geelong. Hawthorn 7-1-43, 19 minutes gone, second term.
Interesting, in the build-up to this game, Alistair Clarkson said it couldn't be a shootout. Well, certainly Geelong Geelong are on 20-goal pace at the moment, so it's being played at their tempo according to Hawthorn's coach. Kick comes out towards the wing from Mitchell, taken by Burgoyne, sends Hodge away on his wrong foot. Well played there by Hunt. Hunt stayed with him step for step, knowing that Hodge wanted to get around on an angle to use the left. He ties him up with assistance from Ling, and the umpire will ball it up about a metre in from the line, just the attacking side of the right centre wing for the Hawks, who started in blazing fashion in this term, but then Geelong have come back strongly with the last couple of goals. Hand pass from Sewell to Hodge, kicks it down towards half forward. Mark taken by Bartel. Scarlett wants it deep back. Bartel ignores that and will come along the line. A high ball in from the side. Vardy from behind Roughhead, off his hands. Kelly tries to force it forward. Sewell is there, gets some assistance from Gibson, tried to hand pass to Murphy. He lost it, picked up by Shields. Shields a hurried kick, gathered by Corey. Corey slips a hand pass nicely back towards half back. Josh Hunt, spearing pass.
Marked by Taylor in the centre of the ground. He gets a handball off to Chapman, pushed as he kicked toward right half forward. Duncan has a bit of space on Birchall, runs to 48 out, tighter than a 45-degree angle. Long flying shot at goal, never on line, misses everything. And it will be Guerra to bring it back into play in that left back pocket. Go, John.
This setup suits Geelong down, Pat. They've got their two spares. Scarlett's the one. He's is the general down back at the moment. Hunt's free as well, just with the way Hawthorn are trying to slow this game down a little bit.
7-point lead to the Cats. Guerra goes long outside defensive 50. No one able to take the mark. Chapman just sockers one off the ground. It comes to Johnson. He handballed back towards centre half forward, but unable to take it was Ling. Out of the back, it's picked up by Rioli. Into the centre of the ground, the handball goes, taken by Roughhead. Sprinted forward, squeeze a kick up. They're at centre half forward now, the Hawks. Wide cross, back inside 50. Roughhead kept running, had to beat two. Wasn't able to, spilled to ground. Corey chips into the centre of the ground. Mark taken by Stevie J.
He's away, kicks inside the forward 50. Gibson comes to mid it, full-chested, ricochets off his body, taken by Duncan. Gibson kept coming, wonderful tackle. In goes Varco, hurriedly on the boot, spills to Stokes. Stokes lines up and kicks a goal. Oh, what a beauty. That was a real battle, hard footy, and Geelong prevailed. Stokes from 40 metres out. That's a contender for our good guys' goal of the day for Loughra cooking. Couple of hard tackles, didn't quite stick, so Geelong have met the challenge now. 9-2-56. Hawthorn 7-1-43 on the RACV Business Insurance scoreboard. So the margin was 19 points at quarter time, and for all they've done in this term, Hawthorn, it's still 13. Quite remarkable.
We're not being disappointed with the standard, though, are we? It's just a great contest, great to watch, high scoring. It's still tough. And we saw the consequence, Jono, of dropping too many men spare back. Hawthorn came and attacked. There was no one to give the ball to.
Yeah, they weren't, and that allowed Bartel to get back to create a spoil and create some overlap.
Rowan Connolly tonight for Cracker Barrel. Brad Johnson, Graham Bond, Dennis Cometti and Shane McGuinness with you. Great one for Saturday night footy as it's cleared out of the middle. Franklin trying to get onto it at half forward. He dodges a couple and has it back in the centre of the ground. Kicks out, switches play to the southern side where it's marked by Rioli. So Cyril has it just attacking side of the wing and now puts it back to the defensive side of the wing where it's marked by Mitchell. Just slowing it up here for the Hawks. May not be the smartest move as Geelong moves into defence. The kick from Mitchell goes to Murphy. Not a great kick inside 50. Holmes dropped an absolute sitter. Follow the ball, Roughhead. The pickup tried to feed a little handball out. Hunt intercepted. Was able to get it to Enright. His handball again intercepted. Roughhead came up with it. He's tackled. Oh, there's 40 metres out from goal for the Hawks. And now Roughhead's going to be pinged. I have no idea how he was meant to dispose of it. But it's going to be a free kick to Corey Enright about 30 metres out from his defensive goal.
Just watching the Foxtel replay there, I saw Alistair Clarkson come down to the boundary talking with run-off the ruckman for Hawthorn, who was the late inclusion, and it was a blistering verbal assault on that late inclusion down there on the boundary. Meantime, the ball is on the outer side wing with Mitchell. Mitchell goes down towards half forward. No Hawthorn player in the vicinity, and the umpire says throw it in. Now, we've seen that paid deliberate before, and Mitchell just saying I was clumsy.
Lucky Luke Hodge was 40 metres away.
And closing. Up goes Lewis, taps it down after the boundary throw-in, comes to Joel Corey, picked up by Mackey, hand pass across towards Duncan. That was successful. Ling grabs it, kicks it out towards left half back, gathered by Vardy, the leggy colt. Vardy runs down our broadcast side, comes towards half forward, only had one man to go to, and that was Menzel. So the two youngsters very much at the heart of the future of Geelong combining there. Menzel goes back inside, Josh Hunt forward to Kelly. Kelly spots a man just inside the 50. That was Duncan, ignored him though, goes to Podsiadly. Why not? Why not go to the Pods? He's hot tonight. Hawthorn can't stop him. They started with Gibson, went to Schoenmakers, went back to Gibson briefly. At least he contested a couple of times with Podsiadly recently, and now once again they're back with Schoenmakers. It makes no difference.
Well, this is his 29th game tonight, Dennis. This is the 7th time that he's kicked 5 goals in a game, which he said never kicked more than 5. He's got 5-1 tonight. This will be for a career best 6 in a game.
The Podfather going at the 10th for Geelong then, 9-2, 7-1. In he comes. Podsiadly has 6 out of 10. Oh, don't tell me he's jogging off. He's not.
Leave him out there.
Leave him out there. He's coming off and there's steam coming off him. He's smoking.
Oh, well, he's right near me now, guys. You can hear that applause. Phenomenal effort. The great irony of this at the moment, Jono, is that it's Geelong's forward line that's sort of been struggling, and Hawthorn's defence has been outstanding. Not the case tonight.
Well, you know, Pods is on fire when the ball hits him in the forehead and then drops into his arms for a mark.
A thinking man's mark.
It is.
But why would you... look, Jono, don't give a sucker an even break. Now you go for the jugular, don't you?
You certainly do, but he needs at least one break for the quarter. I don't think he's been off yet, Dan, and he has been outstanding. But I'm with you, jogging off. He'll be back out there in a minute.
Work him like a rented mule.
Margin back to what it was at quarter time. 19 points in favour of the Cats as Hawthorn tries to get the clearance. Sewell, handball to Mitchell. He's tackled. Managed to get a handball out. Suckling just decides to put boot to ball. Slams it to the northern wing. Foot race on here. Shields got there first instead of Bartel. Shields was tackled though. Ball spilled out. It came up to Stokes. Handball to Torrey. He releases to Johnson. Cats under pressure. Hunt received the handball. Back to Johnson. Great tackle from Cyril. Johnson just got rid of it to Mackey. Mackey moves it along the broadcast wing for front position. It's Sewell who takes the mark for the Hawks. Still defensive side of the centre. Short.
Wow.
Bit dangerous in the end. Mitchell takes the mark. He decides to switch play toward the southern stand side of the ground. Coming across. Matt Suckling moved it quick on the left. Flicked it out. Taking the mark is Whitecross. So they're moving it slowly, but eventually getting forward. Whitecross has it. Still 75 from home for the Hawks. Low trajectory kick. Suckling comes through for the mark, and this is where they have trouble, Jono.
And guys, just quickly, Hawthorn's made the substitution. Clinton Young injured a calf. Luke Bruce about to come on.
So the Hawks do the V, comes to Guerra in the centre of the ground. He moves it out to Savage on the broadcast side. As Savage moves it short to Birchall, but they're still 75 from home, and there's like a great wall of China there, Jono, that they can't penetrate.
Yeah, there's Cats everywhere at the moment. They just need to be a little bit more patient. Doesn't matter if they kick it around for the next couple of minutes.
Birchall tried to go over the great wall, but waiting on the other side, Harry Taylor for the Cats.
In the back pocket, Taylor. So the margin now as it was at quarter time. For all the huff and puff from Hawthorn, and it was exhilarating. They've got nothing to show for it. Podsiadly with 6 goals out of 10. Seated at the moment. Ottens has gone down to full forward as Geelong work it short. Selwood goes very close to Fuopolo, and this ball spills out of bounds. Fuopolo, I think, just came onto the ground through the interchange gates. He was trying to go to Johnson, and Johnson was immediately under pressure. Ball spilled out of bounds. A boundary throw in. Vardy taps it forward. Joel Corey of Geelong upended. In goes Duncan. Spills across towards Shields. Liked his game for the Hawks. Hand passes to Mitchell. Fuopolo. A hot one intended for Hodge. Hodge on his knees. Confronted by Ling. It comes back towards Renniff. Rolls through the legs of Shields. Chance for Kelly of Geelong. He goes to ground. Hard-working football there for no result. The ball again goes out of bounds. A throw-in front of our commentary position.
Bondi, let's check a half-time score up at Metricon Stadium for Vic Super.
Yeah, North Melbourne right on top. 45-point leaders, 9-7 to Gold Coast, 2-4.
From the boundary throw-in, Sorioli handballs back toward the line. Savage was there, but Jimmy Bartel sees it over, and a throw-in between wing half forward for the Hawks to crack a barrel. Ron Connolly.
Just an update on Quinton Young. It's either a knee, behind the knee, or calf. Very heavily iced. And Daniel Menzel's just limped off for Geelong too, looking at his knee.
Bruce was the sub last week, came on, kicked 3 goals. He'll be wanting to do the same tonight as the Cats get the clearance from the throw-in. Kelly gets a kick toward half forward. Underneath it, Suckling just got around Vardy. Handball across half back, goes to Gibson, back to Suckling. Suckling now moves it out toward the Olympic stand. Going to have to be fast down there. Sam Mitchell wasn't fast enough. And now the Cats have it deep in their attacking half of the ground. Throw in 75-metre around from their goal, the punt road end. Geelong 10-2-62. Hawthorn 7-1-43. We're 2.5 minutes out from half-time.
Good game of footy. Violent swings both ways. Burgoyne at the back of the pack after the boundary throw in for the Hawks. Sends them down towards half forward. Roughhead does brilliantly. Juggles the mark midway between right centre wing and right half forward. Looks towards the man coming directly at him. Whitecross hits him on the chest. Whitecross 65 metres out. Needs to move it quickly. Centres the ball, and it's taken there by Osborne. Osborne inside the centre square. Pretty open forward line deep, but he goes short to where the crowd is. Off hands. Chance behind at the back of the pack for Sewell. Gets a hand pass away. Coming quickly was Mackey. Mackey of Geelong knocks the ball in front. Advantage is played. Mackey was held without it. Taken by Ling. Don't know what he was thinking. Kicked it straight to Rioli, who's forward of the wing. He looks inside. 2 players to choose from, and he gives the ball to Murphy.
Hawks would love a late one. They've got 90 seconds in which to do so as Murphy. Long penetrating kick inside attacking 50. Flying up late with Hodge. Back of the pack. Buddy trying to sucker it off the ground. He had to get it on the left. He's lucky it wasn't touched on the last line, but Buddy gets his second. And it couldn't come soon enough for the Hawks. On the RACV Business Insurance scoreboard, Hawthorn now 8-1-49, Geelong 10-2-62. He just had the weight at the back of the pack then, Jono, and Buddy actually has 3, my mistake. Jono, he almost messed it up just on that last line.
He did, and nearly
fumbled.
Kicked it into the post, but that time when they did go in long, Geelong weren't able to get their numbers back. They actually went in there, and it was one-on-one. Ball spilt. Buddy was able to then capitalise. Second time for getting a goal over the back.
And that stops a string of 5 unanswered goals by Geelong.
Almost hit the post.
Almost hit the post.
You're a team player, Shane. That was me telling you it was 3.
We all make mistakes.
No, thank you very much. After the bounce, spills wide. Chance for the Hawks to add to that. It comes to Suckling. Suckling hand passes to Lewis. So will the term finish as it started. Rioli's got the ball deep in the pocket. Swings it towards goal and narrowly misses. We're inside the last minute. I was talking about those violent swings. Well, Geelong dominated the first term. That was pretty much standard procedure. But immediately after quarter time, Hawthorn went on the rampage and grabbed the lead. And then Geelong have come back, but Hawthorn just getting on top again close to half-time. Good game of football, this one. Taylor Hunt out of defence. High ball intended for Ottens in front. Guerra still time. 40 seconds remaining in the term. Guerra will go across the ground. Hangs a long time in the air. Getting back is Suckling. Now he's a good kick. Goes in short. Franklin, well, he was surrounded by 3 Cats. Lewis grabs the football. Hand passes across towards a teammate there in Bruce. Bruce kicks towards full forward, and it bounces out of bounds in the opposite pocket. Maybe the wrong option there by Suckling. Bruce appeared to be free deep. He went short for Franklin on the lead. Everybody went with Franklin. Boundary throw in.
Imminent half-time boundary throw-in. Selwood grabbed it out of the contest, and he's going to get a free kick. So any chance? Hawthorn, no, the umpire pointed the wrong way. I do apologise. It's a free kick to the Hawks.
Against Ottens.
It's going to Brent Renoff, so it was a free kick in the ruck contest. So you can back me up here.
I was going to say, don't apologise for the umpire's mistake. It wasn't your mistake. Shane, you were following his direction out on the ground. It was certainly looking at the Foxtel replay, a hold by Ottens, but he's still asking the question as to why.
So half-time, the siren goes. Hawthorn can make it just a 6-point lead to the Cats. The pressure on Renouf here. He's only on a very slight angle and only 40 metres out. Kick on its way. Cheer squad knew it was through all along. What a game we have for Saturday night footy. High fives all round with the Hawks. And that was a roller coaster quarter. The Hawks started off strong. The J-Pod kicked 3 in a row. The Cats went back out to a 19-point lead. But what matters at halftime is that lead is just 6 points. 10-2-62 the Cats. Hawthorn 9-2-56. That second term for RACV Business Insurance. And for all your business insurance needs, call 13 RACV. Brad Johnson.
Well, what a quarter. Started with Hawks kicking 5 goals in about 7 minutes, which was fantastic play. They took the initiative. Then Pod stands up and kicks a couple more goals. He's got 6 for the half. And then it was Geelong taking the dominant part of the middle part of the quarter. And then the last 5 minutes goes back to the Hawks. So we've got an outstanding game, straight kicking, 10-2 to 9-2, and really enjoying this one, Dennis.
Just 1 point, Brad. Those last goals for the Hawks came when the Pods was sitting down.
That's right. Keep him out there.
I just want to say that.
It's a mental.
No. Well, it is now. It's a problem, isn't it? Regardless. But, you sort of do those things at your peril.
The aura that one can bring.
You've got to be held accountable, though, when you do that. We talked about it at the time. We're not second-guessing.
It's going to be a massive second half here at the MCG, especially if the Pod listens to a bit of Jay-Z at half-time, Dan. Gets it in the iPod, the J-Pod.
But we're playing to our demographic, aren't we?
Geelong 10-2-62. We might introduce a little bit later in the night. Geelong 10-2-62. Hawthorn 9-2-56. Game on here at the MCG. Our halftime wrap for Metling. Coming up is Dennis Cometti on 3AW.
Opening bounce then from umpire Farmer, knocked down by Renouf, taken by Burgoyne, who runs immediately into a dead end. He's tackled by 3 Geelong players, and we'll have a bounce. Secondary bounce, umpire Farmer puts it down quickly to try and get rid of this congestion. Slapped down by Vardy. Kelly had the run of it. Spills across towards Sewell. He had it, lost it, flung out of there by Mitchell. Gave it to Burgoyne. Probing kick inside the forward 50. Renouf, or rather Roughhead was up. It comes forward to the pack. Slapped out of there by Enright from the 50. Straight to Sewell though. Sewell puts it back inside the attacking zone. Hand pass comes to Franklin from Roughhead. And he bounces it just wide of the goalpost. It bounces through for a behind. It bounced in the square and then went to its left and just missed by about a metre.
So it's going to be Hunt. That's the Joshua variety to bring it back into play. Goes to left half back. Mark taken down there by Harry Taylor. Moves it quick up toward the wing. 3-on-3 contest. Sliding in. Murphy's on top of the ball. Managed to just shuffle it out. Shields under pressure. Tackle applied. Chapman. He's tackled in turn by Mitchell. As pack forms, and we'll see a bounce just forward of the wing for the Cats, kicking to the city end in this third term. 10-2-62, plays 9-3-57 in favour of Geelong. Bounce, knocked down by Vardy. It's shuffled out, taken by Shields. Couldn't hold on to it. Tackled by Selwood. Managed to get it out eventually, though, did Shields. Met, though, by Johnson of Geelong. Handball to Mackey. He flicks it out to Chapman. Handball into the air to Ling. Didn't want possession. Knocked it inside, attacking 50. Johnson has to decide for the bounce. Wasn't able to do so. Rioli dives on top of the ball. Couple players dive on him. Stevie J in there. Umpire lurks. It's going to come out, though. Eventually, Shields shuffled the handball out. Hodge wanted to get onto it. Comedy of errors at the moment. Turnover after turnover. Mackey now knocks it to Chapman. Taylor Hunt. He kicks into the man on the mark. Rioli comes through. Had his head taken off almost. Got a handball out. Back to Mackey of Geelong. Kicks toward full forward. Knocked away by Tom Murphy. He rushes it through for a point. I reckon everyone had a go of the ball there, Jono.
Yeah, we need to reset. Lucky we got a point so all the players can settle down and try and get into this quarter.
Great work, Cyril Rioli. Got that ball clear 3 times.
So the margin back to 6 points as it was at half-time. Behind the piece to start this term. Short one comes in. And it's taken by Shields, just off a step, pops it towards the boundary, and Guerra. Hawthorn attacked on our broadcast side. He kicks it outside the defensive 50, and Brad Sewell, who's been a powerhouse tonight, tough inside player, has the ball at left half back. And really not much on, so we'll come down the line. He kicks the ball very high towards the interchange gates. Uncontested. Whitecross, who sparked up halfway through the second term, takes the mark and then kicks looking for Rioli. Punched away by Josh Hunt. Joel Corey goes after it. Mitchell wanted it. Moore did brilliantly. Hand pass to Rioli. Rioli lays it off to Savage. Savage goes in and kicks a goal. Oh, wonderful. Set up by Mitchell. Savage gets his first. And that makes the scores level on the 3AWTAC scoreboard. That was a terrific running goal. Good guy's goal of the day for Lofra-Cookie.
And Dennis, just watching the Foxtel replay, Mitchell's attack on the ball was fantastic. Outpointed Corey, which is pretty tough to do. And then great handball over to Rioli, who then set up Savage for a very nice running goal, as you said. And Mitchell went back to the centre of the ground holding his stomach. So I think he's just copped one in the midriff as he was running through there at full pace.
Just wondering, Jono, whether Josh Hunt had enough time there to actually take possession and give it off rather than go the punch, which ended up with the opposition.
Geelong's done that 3 times so far in this quarter, so maybe just looking to get forward momentum at any cost.
Hawthorn starting the third term as they did the second, hard and fast. They get the clearance again out of the middle toward half forward. Osborne wanted it. Shields, he's in there, but he runs into it. Tackled as he got a handball away. Spilled down to Josh Hunt, couldn't maintain possession. Ling came through, got a handball out. Hawthorn though with numbers. It's picked up by Whitecross. Fed the handball out wide to Lewis, but his slow trajectory kick, it's cut off by Corey Enright at right half back for the Cats. He now kicks outside defensive 50. The ball goes about 40 metres. Ling takes the mark in front of Mitchell. Allows a few teammates to flood forward. Has an option of Taylor Hunt, decides to ignore it, keeps it on the northern wing. Wanted Stevie J to come into the ball, he didn't. Comes off his chest into the hands of Lewis. He loops the handball backwards. Hawthorn with numbers around the ball. Whitecross was there, stolen away by Mackey. Feeds the handball out to Ling. Long high kick toward right half forward. The pod, the bounce favoured him. Oh, that's a shocking kick. That is no good at all. High up and under kick. Underneath it, Menzel tried to take the mark, couldn't do so cleanly. Spilled down to ground. Ottens wrestling Gibson, ball going nowhere, and we'll see a bounce left forward pocket for the Cats. Wasn't a great kick, John.
No, it wasn't. He just hit the belly of the ball. That was the problem there. I think we all thought he was going to be able to snap that around, but just hit it right in the middle chain.
You've just joined us. Ponziadley has 6 goals, all in the first half, obviously. After the bounce, Menzel goes after the football. He's tackled across the line, though, wearing him like a glove. Guira, boundary throw in. Scores level, 63 apiece. Early going, third term, Saturday night football. The crowd a little disappointing tonight. Cool night, certainly, but not cold. Ling flings it out after the boundary throw into Kelly. Kelly's hand pass to no one in particular. Well played by Osborne. The dashing Hawk knocks it to his own advantage, runs across towards the wing. Hand passes back inside Mitchell. Mitchell goes short and finds Whitecross. Meanwhile, behind play, Stokes and Osborne tangle. Whitecross still with the football. Comes to Osborne as he and Stokes parted company. Osborne remained stationary virtually, and the ball came to him. So he has the ball at the interchange gates, right on the wing. Plays it back to Guira. So just for the moment, Hawthorn taking the sting out of the game. Punch and counter punch. Rollicking affair so far. Guira told to play on. Hand passes to Osborne, the man who kicked it to him. Osborne lays it off again. Comes across to Murphy. Murphy kicks down towards half forward and Lewis.
So Jordan Lewis has it between wing half forward for the Hawks, just in front of the Olympic stand. Not sure where to go with it. They've been doing this for the last couple of minutes. Finally goes high and long inside 50. High up and fly down there was Guerra. Mate, that Renoff wasn't able to bring it down. Gee, he got a fair way up. But it came off hands and out of bounds. We'll see a boundary throw in. Geez, he got a fair chunk of it. Second grab, couldn't complete the third. So 25 metres around from goal for the Hawks. Inside attacking 50. Ball spins back into play. Ons palmed it down. Taylor tackled by Hodge. Brought to ground. Umpire Johnny on the spot. We'll see another bounce. Rowan Connolly for Cracker Barrel.
Well, you'd reckon this would suit Geelong, just slowing it down at the moment, because they've been playing to Hawthorn's hands a bit.
Ons palmed it down as far as Mitchell, though, of Hawthorn. He got a kick around his body, and Harry Taylor had no intention of keeping that ball in whatsoever. just paddled it to the boundary line, and now just 10 metres around from goal for the Hawks. So they're slowly closing in. Throw in again. Ons palmed it down. Picked up by Hodge. Wants to snap it back. Kicked into the back of the head. I think that was Harry Taylor whose header ricocheted off. And another boundary throw in, the fourth in 60 seconds. 10-3, 63 each of 2. 8 minutes gone. Third quarter for the TAC.
Both sides looking to assert themselves here. Renoff, he's lifted since the coach gave him a good working over. Came down to the bench and addressed him personally. The ball comes to Sewell. Sewell kicks long down towards full forward. Almost Osborne's mark. Didn't stick. Scramble. Baller. Well, Osborne again, a bit like Renoff moments before, appeared to have taken the mark. And when you look at the replay, the Foxtel replay, his arms were chopped. He should have got a free kick. Ling was there a step late. Umpire bounces it and the ball forced across the line in front of Kelly. So Geelong dodge a bullet. Hawthorn fans not happy with the free kick count in the opening term, 12-1 against them. But they got a few important ones in the second quarter. Still, what have you done for us lately? Boundary throw in. Knocked down, comes to Scarlett. Scarlett has had his hands full down there, kicks it out wide and it bounces out of bounds. It'll be thrown in.
Is that Janet Jackson?
What's that?
What have you done for me lately? It's
was a song, was it?
Yeah, Janet Jackson, I think.
Oh, wow.
I'm embarrassed I know that.
It's Jay-Z
I'm
night,
embarrassed I don't.
Not Janet Jackson night. Boundary throw in, picked up by Mitchell. Feeds the handball out. Sewell ducks and weaves. Got it around Ling. Goes out wide. Wanted Savage to get onto it. Nice little hip and shoulder there, though, from Jimmy Bartel. And it's going to be, no, there's a free kick off the ball. It's coming back. It's going to be a free kick to Brad Sewell on the wing. Out of side, handball to Birchall. Back to Sewell. Kick inside 50 on the lead. Buddy Franklin, I think he had enough of it just. Tom Lonergan doesn't agree. He's going to argue with the umpire. No point in doing that. And Buddy will get the free kick. Tighter than a 45-degree angle. Will kick here about 52 metres out, Jono.
Yeah, we're looking at the Foxtel replay myself. And Dan, do you think he had enough of that?
Yeah, I think I'd buy it. What do you reckon?
1, 2, 3 grabs yet. Certainly play that one. I think any forward would claim that chain.
You'd want it, wouldn't you?
Without any question. But the Hawks they wouldn't mind all those stoppages because they've actually been more proactive than the Cats in the last 5 minutes.
So he's got 3 tonight. Gets close to the man on the mark. Kicks from 51 out on the arc. It comes back, but not enough. And he still has 3 tonight, but gives the Hawks the lead. 10-4, 64 Geelong. 10-3, 63 TAC scoreboard. If you're driving tonight, watch your speedo and don't risk it.
Enright kicks in, finds Harry Taylor. That was a good kick. He's marked just shy of the wing. Little chipping pass over the top. Going back, Mackey with the flight of the football. So Geelong have moved it to the wing with no trouble. Mackey looks inside the forward 50. Gives this one a ride. Podsy Adderley nowhere to be seen. Up goes Duncan though. And Duncan takes the mark. He's been handy, Duncan. Just a role player, but he drifts in and out of the game. He's 55 metres out. Sends it long down towards full forward. Podsy Adderley is there. Punched away by Roughhead. And through for a minor score, which is enough for the lead. 65 Geelong, 64 Hawthorn. 10-5, 10-4.
The kick by Duncan was just a little bit too deep. He just needed to probably bring it out to maybe 15, 20 metres from goal rather than kicking it near the goal line. Just makes it too easy for the opposition to spoil it through.
So it'll be Query to bring it back into play. Bondi, let's quickly go around the grounds for Vic Super.
Yeah, at the Metricon Stadium, North Melbourne still by 63 points over the Gold Coast Suns.
Query kicks to himself, then goes with a long 55-metre punt. A beautiful mark by Roughhead at left half back for the Hawks. Gets the cheers, now kicks into the centre of the ground. Lewis move fast, takes the contested mark, moves it back out to the northern side. He wanted Hodge. Good diving, smothering effort there from Taylor Hunt. Got the punch away. Bartel the pickup. Feeds the handball off to Corey Enright. Still defensive half of the ground. Kicks into the centre of the ground. Dead centre of the MCG. Mackey takes the mark. He moves it out to the southern side now where Duncan takes the grab. Little handball off Josh Hunt. High, long kick inside 50. Podsy Adderley had to beat 3. Comes off hands, still in play. Podsy Adderley shoveled the handball back. Picked up though by Puopolo. Low trajectory kick. Rioli comes through for the grab. Hawks fans want 50. Nothing given.
Beautiful centering kick. Sewell able to wait and take the mark on his chest. Scores a level, actually. I said it was a point the difference, but gee, they got that last score up very quickly. Bull on the outer side. Rioli slips a hand pass away, taken by Savage. Kicked a good goal in the first term. Goes down towards the pocket with this one. Coming through is Franklin. Wheels around his buddy Franklin and kicks a goal. Now there's a difference. He's put in 4, and Hawthorn lead by that score. 70 plays 64. Franklin in full flight there, hit the ball hard, and once he had it, there was no stopping him. So on the TAC scoreboard, 11 for Hawthorn, 10 for Geelong. The undefeated Cats now with a challenge.
That passage of play then, Dennis, was all Cyril Rioli. He was the one who took the mark on the half-back line, kicks the ball inside, then Sewell dribbles one along the ground, and guess who gets it back? Rioli does a magical handball over his head, and then Savage was able to hit the ball inside forward 50, where Franklin was able to pick up a loose ball and kick a nice goal around the corner. But Rioli's work rate was the reason why Hawks were able to score in that passage of play.
Stats analyzer Graham Bond for Europe.
Well, that's where the Hawks have been better. They've got 7 goals won tonight from loose ball gets on their forward line. The Cats have only got the 2.
Geelong had the clearance. Ling was tackled. Ball spilled to ground. Hawthorn get the pickup. Burgoyne, long kick toward half forward. Off the bounce. Picked up by Whitecross. On the lead, buddy. Well, it's a shootout, all right. But Hawthorn is getting the advantage.
Once again, Jono, pressure by Hawthorn exerted on the ball carrier wing. Turnover, scoring opportunity.
This is the pocket Buddy likes on the left. They lead by 6 points before the kick, the Hawks. He's already got 4 tonight. Lance Franklin to the punt road end. Bit tighter than a 45-degree angle. He went to square it up, buddy. No one saw it coming. Michael Osborne did. He was on the lead, directly in front. Will line up 20 metres out.
Gotta love that, don't you, Shane? Fantastic play by Buddy. We were all sitting up here. I think we were relaxed as well in terms of just waiting to see how the set shot was going to go.
Jeez, we built it up, and then he decided to pass. Michael Osborne come in. He better kick it. He did. Osborne gets his first. Hawthorn out to a 12-point lead. 12-4, 76. Geelong 10-4, 64. TAC scoreboard. 15 minutes gone in this term. And John, I mentioned a shootout. That's exactly what it is. Alistair Clarkson said he didn't want one, but the Hawks are capitalising. They're staying in this.
Yeah, well, at the moment, this quarter's been all Hawthorn, but look out for Geelong now. They'll probably bounce back and kick the next 2 and tighten this contest up. That's just been the nature of the night so far.
Well, it's been a 5-goal to Hawthorn, followed by 5 goals to Geelong, followed by 5 goals to Hawthorn.
There we go, Bondi.
You're going to say, Rowan?
Oh, it's just interesting watching Alistair Clarkson on the bench here. He gets the headset off all the time, goes down on the rub-down mats and has a word to him, gets around to everyone on the bench.
For Cracker Barrel, Rowan Connolly as the Cats go forward. Gathered by Joel Corey, smothered off the boot by Schoenmakers, and now we've got a whistle, play on advantage. Coming away with the ball is Lewis. He chips it up towards the wing, but ill-directed. And Taylor Hunt takes an uncontested mark.
Done that a few times tonight, Lewis.
Short pass comes across to Watten. So the Cats squarely with a challenge here. They're down by 12 points. They've won some tight games, some big games. Had some thrilling finishes this season. Joel Corey applies a strong tackle on Schoenmakers, and the umpire will ball it up about 60 metres out from the Cats' attacking goal. They're going to the city end of the MCG. Terrific night for football. Well represented at the jump there with Geelong. They had 3 players up. It comes behind the pack. Schoenmakers. Hawthorn plenty on the ground. Kicks off towards the wing. Big leap there from Josh Hunt. Advantages paid. Unrealistic attempt, said the umpire. Gathered by Bruce. He got a hand pass looking for Burgoyne. Once again, the advantage comes unstuck. I don't think it was incorrect in as much as Hawthorn had plenty of players and they were controlling the footy. They made a mess of it. Stokes has got the ball, goes to Ottens.
Yeah, it was a blatant free kick to Sean Burgoyne down here for holding, wasn't paid.
Ottens between wing half forward, kicks toward right half forward. Mark taken by Joel Corey. Now he's right up against the boundary line, a good 52 from home. Just keep an eye on the pod here as Corey kicks toward the goal square. The pod sets himself, tried to come up from behind. The man in front, Brett Renner, that is a fantastic mark. Used his body, took the grab, last line of defence. Now gets the handball off to Guerra, kicks outside defensive 50 is Savage. Just waited for the ball to come onto his chest, took the grab at left half back. Hawthorn 76, Geelong 64. TAC scoreboard, 18 minutes gone, third term. Saturday night footy, we got a cracker as Savage kicks up toward the wing. Players fly. No one able to bring it down. Fall the ball, Enright, handball to Ling. Kicks up toward half forward. Wanted Varco to get the fall, couldn't. Spills out to Mitchell. He releases a handball. Birchall right up against the boundary line. Takes on Ottens. Got around him. Spears the kick to the wing. Roughhead tried to take the mark. Wasn't able to bring it in the left hand. Ling, he's lynched upon by Shields, and Roughhead slammed into the turf. And we'll see a bounce centre wing broadcast side. Geelong trailing by 12 points.
Ling a bit unlucky not to get a free kick there. Thought he was taken high. There's the bounce. Ottens knocks it down. Shields does well again. Oh, clever. Brilliant by Mitchell. The backhander came to Roughhead. Now Mitchell, I think, will get a free. He was held too long. He was held really when he didn't take possession. How was that for quick thinking, Brad?
It was a great tap on. He knew the body pressure was there, and he seen Roughhead out the corner of his eye.
Here's Bruce. Near the crowd. He lays it off for Franklin. Franklin trying to just pinpoint the ball. Bartel, who's been quiet, got in front, took the mark, gave it across to support. Ling went short to Chapman, gave it to Scarlett. Hand passes to Selwood, back to Chapman. Now they can break up the middle. He hand pass to Scarlett. Scarlett lays it off to Enright. Long kick. Johnson goes up one-handed, almost at the second attempt. It spills in front. Menzel. Oh, well played, Fuopolo. Socketed it away. Found the football. Runs the outer side, kicks to the wing. That was brilliant defence. And Whitecross takes the mark. Fuopolo, few games, but that was wonderful. Goes to Mitchell. Bartel gets in the road.
And Mitchell's kick intercepted by Bartel. Kicks back toward the wing as Menzel comes through for the mark. Just goes short and square. Scarlett, quiet tonight, moves it toward left arm forward as Chapman takes the mark 55 metres out. Has a couple of leads inside 50. Corey presents. Varco. Podsy Adley there too. But Chapman just slows it down, almost setting himself for a shot at goal. Comes in, he's at the edge of the centre square, toward the forward pocket. And Stevie J barely had to move 2 steps. Went back with the ball, took the mark. But this is a tight angle.
It was a great play by Chapman because Johnson had Sewell as his direct opponent for that whole passage of play, and in the end
Stevie J comes around on the right. Usually doesn't mind those tough angle kicks. On this occasion, it misses to the near side. Geelong 10-5, 65. Hawthorn 12-4, 76. TAC scoreboard, 21 minutes gone. Third term 3RW Saturday night footy.
Suckling to bring it in then. Goes wide, very close to the boundary line. Just marking it a step in. Here's Murphy. It was a long kick. He's a good kick of the football, Suckling. That's a well-known fact. Murphy drives it up towards the wing. Reaching over the top was Lonergan. Punched it down in front. Bartel grabbed it. High floating ball. A wonderful Mark Shields. Coming back with a flat of it for Hawthorn. They'll be hard to stop now with things like that happening. Terrific work. Burgoyne rather, goes down towards half forward and Bruce. Bruce the centering kick. Hodge is outnumbered, battles on gallantly. Comes across towards Barco. Barco gives it to Lonergan. Lonergan goes back looking for Scarlett. He's out. Well, they've got the numbers down there, Geelong, but it mightn't do them much good. Gee whiz, they were lucky to escape there. The kick came towards goal from Shields, who moments ago had it up on the outer side with that wonderful mark. He became the 5th man in that contest, the second Hawk, and almost kicked a goal after some good work earlier by Bruce.
3-3 to 3 behinds in favour of the Hawks in this quarter. As Geelong from the kick out, mark taken by Duncan. He's been outstanding tonight, young Mitch Duncan. Kicks into the centre of the ground. Mark taken by Johnson, has to get around Guerra, does just that. Kick to centre half forward, fly to the ball. Mackie the mark, handball to Stokes. Surely a goal coming up here for the Cats. Oh, Matthew Stokes has missed.
Yeah, he had Pods over the top for a handball.
Just rushed it in the end. Geelong 10-6, 66. Hawthorn 12-5, 77. TAC scoreboard.
Steve Johnson's kick, sorry Rowe, was just fantastic. You must have been happy with that one going through the middle of the ground.
He just got too close to the man coming at him there. He needed to balk him as well, didn't he?
Yeah, that would have been the thing to do, but as it was, he obviously thought he could elevate the kick enough. Now, Fuopolo's played it to himself, takes on Ottens. He's too nimble, but the kick is charged down, then goes out of bounds. Joel Corey tracks it across. It's beside the behind post. So Fuopolo got himself into all sorts of trouble. It's about mistakes. Both sides capitalising on the other team's mistakes just for the moment. Geelong making a few more, but that time the Hawks making what hasn't proved costly as yet. After the boundary throw in, pushed across the line by Schoenmakers for another throw in, so it still could haunt them. And if they get a goal here, the margin would be back to just 5 points. But as it is, on top by 11, the Hawks after the boundary throw in. Fuopolo went to ground, tried to knock it across to Savage. In goes Ottens, rolls to ground, spills across towards Menzel. Ottens came again, got a hand pass, gathered there by Corey, who tries to walk his way to goal, dragging about 3 Hawks behind him. And the umpire will do the business again. Hawthorn 12-5, Geelong 10-6 on the TAC scoreboard.
25 metres out from goal for the Cats. City end of the stadium from the bounce. Ottens palmed it down. Free kick though going at Hawthorn's way. Ruck infringement against Brad Ottens, just taking Jared Roughhead too high. So Roughhead has it, right back pocket. Short kick to Sewell as Ling closed in on him. Let's check in with you. But Cracker Barrel Vintage Cheese, Rowan Connolly.
Well, you just get the sense Geelong's just looking a little tired to me. I think Hawthorn's got more of the run.
Sewell, high kick out toward the outer wing. Franklin the target. Bartel came across. Couldn't quite complete the mark. Spilled to ground. Bartel dives on top of it again. Little handball shuffled out. Lonergan got it to Mackey. He's tackled. Burgoyne the pickup. Fortuitous handball to Lewis. He lost it, but he was taken high by Bartel, and it's probably not Jimmy's best night to say the least, as Lewis gets the free. What has Jimmy Bartel had tonight, Europe Cup, Bondi?
Yeah, 13 disposals, 6 contested possessions, no clearances, and just the 1 inside 50.
Certainly not great figures by his standards, as the kick from Fuopolo goes toward the boundary line. It comes off hands, and we'll see a throw in between wing half forward for the Hawks. Punt road end of the stadium. It's Hawthorn leading by 11 points.
Cats goalless in this term. Hawks have kicked 3 after the boundary throw in. Sewell again in the thick of the action. Gives it across to Shields, who's had a wonderful night. Kicks it down towards half forward. There's Bartel in front of the pack. A tackle goes pretty strongly on Bartel. Gets him to the ground. He loses the ball as a result.
Dennis, just to your point before about Geelong making the more mistakes, as good as they are, they always give you a bit of a chance, don't they, Jono, with their flicking it around?
Yeah, they do. You just got to have one tackler go to the ball carrier. Once you get 2s and 3s going at the one guy, that's when you come unstuck with the Cats.
Ball in Hawthorn's forward pocket at the moment. Lonergan picks it up. Hand passes to Kelly, and turn goes to Ling. And Ling's caught holding the ball. Run down from behind, 30 metres out, directly in front. Terrific effort by Bruce. Ling thought he was free, a chain of hand passes, and that's exactly what Rowan was talking about. Perhaps one hand pass too many. And Ling, thinking they'd done the hard work and he was away, didn't count on Bruce. So the young man who certainly played well last week when he came on as a sub, a chance to kick a goal and really make it tough for the Cats from here. A minute and a half from three-quarter time on a Saturday night, and this to get the lead out to 17 points, and he's done it. Hawks on top. Bruce gets the goal. Geelong haven't kicked one in this term, and it's problematic now whether they will. And another shot on the Foxtel replay there of the coach, Chris Scott. He's looking rather forlorn at the moment, contemplating, I'm sure, what he can do, but also looking down the barrel of Geelong's first loss of the season.
Well, we spoke about the stoppages at half-time, and that's where Hawthorn have been able to certainly take advantage. They've been more proactive around that, their work rate, especially work rate from the forwards. But this quarter was set up by Mitchell's first attack on the ball through the middle of the ground, and that seemed to lift the players around, certainly around him in the midfield. Then Osborne was able to attack the ball hard not long after that. It's been all Hawthorn since half-time.
Bondi, three-quarter time up at Metricon Stadium.
It is North Melbourne well on top, 63 points ahead of the Gold Coast Suns. North 14-11, Gold Coast 4-8.
83 plays 66 here in favour of the Hawks as three-quarter time approaches. Ball in the middle of the ground, a free kick to Taylor Hunt. Cats would love one before three-quarter time. Wanted to go square, but instead will go long up toward half forward. Players set themselves underneath it. Nice mark from Brad Ottens.
Oh.
Gibson tried to come over the shoulder, but an awkward handball to Stokes. Back to Ottens. Long and lanky legs. Kicks inside 50. Geez, Podsiadly was held and pushed out of that contest. Doesn't get a free kick. Instead, Tom Murphy is able to take the mark. Almost at full back for Hawthorn.
Yeah, they need to start lowering their eyes, the Cats. They're going too long to Pods, who's been 2-on-1 every time this quarter.
Murphy short to Birchall. You get the feeling Hawthorn would be happy to hold it up until the final change. 83 plays 66. Instead, Birchall goes long outside defensive 50. Taylor Hunt was there. Bruce first to it though, tackled by Corey Enright. The ball's still going, trying to get it out. Sewell fed the handball up. This is Shields, high up and under kick. Lurking underneath it is Bartel, takes the mark. They'll have to move it quickly if they're going to get a late score. It's Bartel on the wing, kicks long. But that's three-quarter time here at the MCG. And the Hawks, they had the boos out at quarter time. They've got the cheers at three-quarter time because their side leads by 17 points at the final change. 13-5-83. Geelong 10-6-66. That term for the TAC. And remember to take it easy this long weekend. Watch your speedo. Don't risk it. The police are out in force. Let's check the goal kickers for this one, and Lance Franklin has 4 tonight, singles to the rest. Lewis, Osborne, Young, Sewell, Savage, Rioli, Renniff, Whitecross and Bruce sprinting around at Hawthorn. For the Cats, they were goalless in that third quarter. James Podsiadly has 6. Singles to Varco, Stokes, Chapman and Vardy. A quick word from you, Brad Johnson.
Yeah, look, as the call went through then, it was all Hawthorn that quarter, just holding Geelong goalless. Fantastic effort by the Hawks. Set up, I think, as I said early on by Mitchell, his attack on the ball was very good, but Rioli's work rate lifted. You had Bruce come and kick a nice goal towards the end there, which was fantastic. I think it's now time for Geelong to activate their sub. We see Milburn warming up, having a few kicks at the moment. Maybe he's one who may be able to start on a wing and then push forward. He may be able to kick a couple of goals.
He's not the right sub for him, Jono, is he?
No, he's not, but they need to activate him, I think, just to try and create something different.
Geelong have won their past 10, yet to record a loss. Could tonight be the night? Hawks on top by 17 points at three-quarter time. Your game, your station. Melbourne Time 3AW is football.
Now, Geelong in trouble. They're down by 17 points. Goalless in the third term. Hawthorn 13-5. Geelong 10-6. As we go to the final term, brief comment now from Western Bulldogs champion Brad Johnson.
Well, Geelong have activated the sub, and Varco has come off, and look, Milburn's gone back, which now releases Bartel, which is a good move. He goes out to the wing, but look to him to push forward at some stage in this quarter. He's the one who can mark the ball quite strongly overhead and can kick multiple goals in a quarter.
Cats were held goalless for the first time since the second quarter of their match against Collingwood earlier this season. Great quarter by the Hawks. They kicked 4 goals, 3 from 12 forward entries. The Cats 4 points from 10 forward entries.
And since quarter time, it's been 11 goals Hawthorn, 5 to Geelong. It's hard to see them getting back from here. The bounce. And now a free kick is going to Vardy, who was pushed in the back. He's been quiet tonight too. Vardy alongside the centre circles, goes for distance. Long down towards Podsiadly, who flies in front. Fingertips to it, couldn't hang on. Fumble from Selwood, and the moment is past. The ball is gathered down there by Sewell, held to him, and the umpire will ball it up. So Selwood for Europe Carbondi.
He's had a quiet night as well, just the 13 disposals. Chapman's only had 16.
Podsiadly goes up, and Chapman started brilliantly. He's virtually been the metronome as far as they've been concerned tonight, and he's been ticking over. They've been playing their best football. Ball on the wing. Lonergan, a hand pass to Kelly. Kelly hand passes back to the sub Milburn. Milburn slips a hand pass away to Taylor.
Long high kick inside 50. Going back with the flight of the ball was Birchall. Couldn't complete the mark. Spilled down to Gibson. Gibson got the little handball away. All across half forward though for the Cats. As Buddy, a fair way from home. Handballed inboard. Taylor Hunt rolls into it. He's all wrapped up. Umpire left with no option but to come in and bounce. Geelong 10-6-66. Hawthorn 13-5-83.
We talked pre-game, Jono, about the Geelong hurt factor. Very good test of it now.
Bounce. Third man up, Vardy knocked it back toward Taylor Hunt, taken away from him by his teammate in Corey. Corey knocks it into the ground, another Corey, that time Corey Enright comes around on the arc, spears it toward half forward. Mark taken by Jimmy Bartel, still 60 from home, pops it inside 50. The target down there was Steve Johnson, couldn't complete the mark. Stokes swoops through, handball back to Stevie J up against the boundary line. Jeez, I thought he took it over. Stevie J has a shot at goal. He's missed off to the right.
No, I think it might still be the boundary throw in, Shane. You might have got it right the first time.
Boundary umpire a little late on that call, and we'll see a boundary throw in the right forward pocket for the Cats punt road end. Sporting bet odds at 3/4 time. Geelong 3.25. The Hawks the favourite $1.32. Sporting bet 1-800-238-001.
Boundary throw in, Otten's in front. Wins it down close to the boundary line. Savage has the run of the ball, but he can't keep it in, so boundary umpire will do the business again. 83 plays 66. Hawthorn on top. Podsy Adley, 6 first half goals. And obviously with Geelong goalless in that third term, hasn't added to that. Hooked down behind this time by Ottens. Changed things. It comes to Kelly. Kelly under pressure and has put it out of bounds on the bounce. Directly in front of his body there. He's trying to get the angle to hook it back towards the goal square. Couldn't. He was pushed and the ball just spilt off his boot limply. Thrown in once more. Otten's clean possession this time. Releases it quickly. Selwood grabs it. Hand passes looking for Johnson. Johnson put the head down looking for a free kick. In goes Taylor Hunt. He's slung. Kelly couldn't control it. Taken by Rioli. Clever hand pass. Gave it across to Osborne. In turn to Lewis. Comes to Franklin. Goes back to Hodge. Hodge breaks towards the outer side. Well weighted kick into the path of Whitecross. Tracks it towards the boundary. Finds his way back in. Well, he was a little too ambitious. Dragged down. No free kick. Geelong there in number, and as a result Josh Hunt wins a loose ball and comes across the ground, taken by Milburn.
Milburn, the sub, decides to move it out to the northern side of the ground. Mackey, foot race. Rioli going to get there first. Just paddles it to his own advantage. Now gets the pickup. Wants to get around Mackey. Just handballed sideways to Gibson. 75 from home. Long kick inside 50. Luke Bruce. Beautiful play. Saw the ball coming. Went back with the flight of it. Harry Taylor charging him down. A nice mark, 45-degree angle, 30 metres out.
Jono, I don't know what, I do know what, not what Darren Milburn was thinking then. It was a one-on-one at best, and then the Hawthorn player came off the bench, was just totally outnumbered.
Yeah, totally, and we'll see Bruce here. He comes on, he always has an impact.
He's got one tonight. That came in the third term. He started as the sub. He shanked that. He put it off to the left. And it's either out of bounds on the full or a Geelong mark. It is the former. As Bartel goes short, didn't go 15. The mark taken by Enright. Little handball to Josh Hunt. He kicks toward left half back, coming through for the mark. Andrew Mackey.
Mackey plays on immediately. Kicks for space. Collision coming up. Well, again, Gibson against Joel Corey. Just wanted it a little bit more. Took the mark. Hand passes to Shields for Europe Carbondi.
Shields has dominated tonight. That was position number 29. Make it 30.
Yes, he's got a hand pass. Hand passes back to Lewis then. Ball kicked inside the forward 50. Grabbed in defence by Enright. Almost a clever mark to Selwood. Came unglued though. Fiopolo gave it across towards Mitchell. Mitchell kicks inside the forward 50 for Hawthorn. Repelled this time. The hand pass came from Taylor to Mackey. He gets it to Menzel. Geelong have got to get a hurry up. Still goalless in the second half. Kicks it up towards the interchange gates. Well played there by Suckling. Came up quickly and just pushed the ball out of bounds opposed to Stokes.
So you can really see from down here the intensity that Hawthorn's showing at the moment. Terrific defence.
Boundary throw in centre wing broadcast side. Goes to the back of the pack. Savage, little toe poker of a kick. Met though by Harry Taylor. He goes high and long toward half forward. Underneath it, Stevie J. Spills down to Selwood. Great tackle though from behind by Hodge. It spilled out though to Stevie J again. Kicks to the goal square. Providing the shepherd down there was the Pod. And geez, you'd almost give the Pod 3 points out of that goal. Goal to Stevie J. And the Cats hang on. Their first goal in the second half. Marching back to 11 points. 11-6-72 the Cats. Hawthorn 13-5-83. 6 minutes gone, final term. This quarter for Stockdale and Lego. And if you're looking to sell, Jono, speak to the agent that knows your local area. That's Stockdale and Lego.
Yes, definitely, Shane. And you look at this quarter, it's been Geelong who have been proactive in terms of the stoppages. They're the ones who are obviously coming from behind, throwing everything at it. at the minute and starting to get reward for their effort. So, look, it's going to tighten right up, and it'll be a very close contest right down to the wire, I think, Shane.
Well, the Cats haven't scored much tonight that hasn't involved James Podsiadly. Bounce in the centre. Renoff taps it down. Taken by Burgoyne. Hand passes up in the air. Slapped forward by Rioli. Chopped off by Corey. Corey inside the forward 50. Podsiadly launched himself. Got hands to it. Couldn't complete the mark. A battle about 15 metres in from the 50-metre line, so 35 metres out from goal. Huopolo comes up with the footy, but the umpire's blowing the whistle. So a ball up. Hawthorn needing to hold here. Selwood, a play on the ball, couldn't handle it. Comes to Menzel, and Menzel snaps the goal. Not the first time Geelong have dug their way out of the hole, not necessarily in this game, although they've done that too, but in big games this year, you can never count them out, and they've started terrifically in the last quarter. Menzel on the left foot, good guy's goal of the day for Lofra Cookie.
And it was Pods again, Dennis, involved in that score. Second time this quarter he's gone third man up, tapped the ball back towards goal. First one didn't work. That one did work. Selwood was able to read it, create a contest, and then a fantastic goal from Menzel on the left side of the body. And in that contest, Renouf actually got injured and had to come off the ground.
Just having a look at him now, Jono, grimacing with pain. I don't think he's too bad, but they were keen to get him off. Rioli having a spell too.
Stats analyzer Graham Bond.
Yeah, the fourth goal tonight the Cats have been able to manufacture from a forward 50 stoppage.
Still yet to get a clearance out of the centre. We'll see another bounce. Bondi, keep going for Europe, Carl.
Yeah, Corey Enright leads the way with 21 disposals. Kelly with 20. Since the first half, though, Podsiadly 6 goals, 1 in the first half. Just the 1 possession in the second.
From the secondary bounce, still not cleared. Umpire lurking. He's pinged the man at the bottom of the pack, and poor Joel Corey never had a hope of getting it out. Free to Jared Ruffin. Handball to Mitchell. You heard the U. He went long, 50 metres inside, attacking 50 for the Hawks. Swooping onto it. Bruce just tried to dive on top of it. Got a little handball away. Buddy was desperate to keep it in. Tried to sell a little bit of candy to Nathan Vardy, but there's a free kick.
Free kick to Milburn.
And it'll be Milburn to take the free. Little handball to Taylor. He goes to Josh Hunt, who kicks up toward the wing. Still defensive side of the wing. The last goal kicker for the Cats. Menzel takes the mark.
Buddy looking a little worse for wear. I don't think he landed on the grass when he was taken down hard. They were still playing well beyond the boundary line. Now Selwood's got the football. Chips towards half forward. Stokes has to wait. Takes the mark. Just sets it up, leading Johnson back towards the footy. And Johnson, storming towards the goal square, has taken the mark. What a remarkable situation. If he kicks a goal, they're in front. He does. Johnson played on, ran around, straight in front, got his second. Geelong lead by a point. Well, remarkable stuff. Hawthorn in the second quarter did what Geelong are doing now. A succession of goals to suddenly grab the lead from the Cats, who were dominant in the first quarter. Geelong repaying them in kind. The Cats 13,684. Hawthorn 13,583 on the Stockdale and Lego scoreboard at the MCG.
I'm telling you, Jono, it's the hurt factor. Geelong looked out on their feet about 5 minutes ago. The hurt of that Ross Grand Final, it just drives them every time. They've got their second, third, fourth win.
It's been the run of goals. Hawthorn kicked 5. Geelong responded with 5. Hawthorn responded with 6. Now Geelong have kicked the last 3.
And the Cats have the lead. Ball still in the middle of the ground, yet to be cleared. Umpire will come in and restart play. Brad Johnson.
I'm just trying to find out off Bondi how many to the punt road end, because certainly there's been more than half down that end of the ground.
Without a doubt, and that's the way the Cats are going in this final term, as Bartel tried to knock it to his own advantage. Umpire lurks. Now umpire Robert Findlay's found a free kick, bottom of the pack at Shields, who was pinged for holding the ball. Bartel gets the free. Long kick inside 50. Pack at 12 go up. No one able to bring it down. Selwood fall the ball.
Free kick,
knocked
Shane.
off and will get the free. He was taken too high, and Joel Selwood directly in front. Quiet by his standards tonight, and Brent Guerra just having a discussion with umpire Steve McBurney about what just happened. Geelong fans have just seen what happened and they don't like it.
Has to be a free kick.
I do wonder, though, does he get any frees for anything other than too high?
Well,
Very rarely, though.
No, I wouldn't think so.
Joel Selwood yet to kick a goal tonight. Directly in front. comes in. Missed to the left. 13-7, 85 Geelong. Hawthorn 13-5, 83. Bondi, Joel Selwood tonight for Europe Cup.
Joel Selwood's night so far, 16 disposals, 1 point. 14 goals have been kicked to punt road end, 12 goals to the city end.
That might even be one they look at as the kick comes straight down the middle. Off hands in front. Mitchell grabs the footy. It floats down towards half forward, but the mark is taken by Scarlett. Scarlett drives towards the outer side, intended for Ling. Ling reaches over the top, couldn't complete the mark. Well done by Lewis in front. Clever tap on by Mackey, taken by Ottens. Could be holding the ball. Umpire lets them play. Spills wide, taken by Duncan. Duncan of Geelong unloads down towards full forward. Coming at the ball was Podsiadly, didn't put the arms up. Plenty of Hawks back there. Gibson picks it up, well played. No, getting an arm in there was Mackey to knock it away from Fiopolo, and the ball goes out of bounds. It'll be thrown in. They've upped the ante now.
That was good play by Mackey because he didn't get a possession, and it won't come up on the stat sheet, that's for sure. But his last 2 contests, just getting a little hand in there.
It's at right half forward for the Cats. Now Roughhead's gone to ground. I'll get you to keep an eye on that row as Sewell the pick up. Hawthorn have it at half back. Little handball to Mitchell. Low trajectory kick up to the wing. Harry Taylor. Well, he wants to deliver it against Mitchell, and the umpire's given it.
He's in trouble, Roughhead.
Yeah, no, he put his arm straight up. 4 trainers out there. It looks like a knee, left knee.
That means Renoff's down, Roughhead's down. They are 2 ruckmen short.
So Scarlett has the free kick as they go forward toward the Roughhead direction. The umpire may have to stop play here.
Stretcher coming out.
So the umpire McBurney's just put his arm into the air as the stretcher does come out.
Well, I'm just watching Brent Renoff down here on the bench. Doctor talking to him. He looks like he's okay to go back on, but obviously massive loss.
Jared Roughhead just holding his left leg, and it just buckled underneath him. And as soon as he went to ground, he put the hand in the air, and that would be a massive loss.
Is he torn the Achilles?
Yeah.
Is the Achilles?
Achilles.
Yeah.
It's Achilles. It's not a knee.
Yep.
The way he's holding his leg up, he just can't move his right Achilles.
The thing you noticed with it was as soon as he hit the deck, he had his arm up. He knew he was gone the moment he hit the deck.
It has to be an Achilles because the way he just tried to push off and then couldn't go anymore.
Wow.
So the motorised stretcher comes onto the ground. We're just seeing a replay of it again. He basically was about to sprint toward the ball, Jono, and as soon as he came off his left leg, he reached for that Achilles. You're on the money. And he's even looking up to the scoreboard to see the replay of just exactly how it happened.
Gee, it raises some huge questions, obviously, Jono, doesn't it? But I mean, on the very night when they prove they're capable of winning a flag, you know, Roughhead's a sort of loss that could cost them that opportunity as well.
Well, you speak about critical players that your own team don't want to lose. Roughhead is certainly one of those, especially with the flexibility he's been able to provide going into the ruck for the Hawks.
So he's coming off on the cart. A couple of trainers, or probably one a doctor, jogging along beside that cart, and he's ruefully scratching his head. What a blow, short term and long term. He's playing well tonight too, putting himself about. He really has relished this opportunity to become their, in some cases, first knock ruckman, but certainly their second stringer. And down the tunnel he goes. Geelong have got the football on the outer side, and they've got the lead as well. They've regained the lead, and Bartel has lifted since we highlighted the fact he wasn't getting much of the ball. His side up by 2 points, and he kicks inside the forward 50. Podsiadly was the target. Schoenmakers didn't have the ball, and he'll get the free kick. Tackled by Podsiadly. Schoenmakers up from the back pocket then. Decides to go short, very short, bounces the ball across to Guerra. Always pretty good in his hands though. This is a long kick around the outer side wing. Offhands it falls to Milburn. He scrambles it forward, taken by Chapman, flicks it across to Mackey. Mackey the high ball towards the 50, over the top Podsiadly. Won it down in front, Geelong in number. Duncan was run down in the opposite direction. Birchall just slips a hand pass to Shields, gives it across to Osborne, back to Lewis. Hand passes out wide. Fiopolo slips a hand pass intended for Osborne, bounced in front of him. In comes Sewell to assist, gives a hand pass to Shields. He's had a good night, Shields, although this kick not particularly good. And a wonderful, courageous mark taken by Milburn, going back the sub. Takes the mark at right half back.
So Milburn short, just keeping it on that southern wing. Chapman comes to the grab. Bondi, what's Paul Chapman had tonight for Europe car? Seems to have been around a bit.
Position number 18 coming up. Milburn's been good this last quarter, 6 disposals.
Keeps it on the southern stand side of the ground. Bartel was the target, punched away by Guerra. And a boundary throw in wing half forward for the Cats as they go to the punt road end. Geelong 13.785, Hawthorn 13.583. Bondi, I know the Kangaroos are in control up north, but just a score for Vic Super.
Yes, North Melbourne currently 17-13, 115. Gold Coast Suns 7-8-50.
Renoff got a little palm down. Hawthorn yet to clear it though, as coming through is Stokes. He gets a topographic kick up towards centre half forward. Menzel came through, but going back with the fly to the ball, courageous stuff from Birchall. A nice grab. He's 45 out from his defensive goal, goes short to Guerra, decides to keep it on that southern stand side, closer to the boundary line. Sewell takes the mark.
Still 10 minutes to play. Sewell goes short. Milburn peels off, came hard, punched it away, and may have hurt his arm in the process. Ball is out of bounds. Did very well.
You're right about that crowd. Bit disappointing. 63,476.
And it's getting pretty cold. We can feel it up here, Rowan. So sympathy for you down there on the boundary.
I'm all right.
Vardy knocks it down. Tough. That's the way we breathe them at 3AW and the age. High ball towards half forward. Came from Corey. Marked down there by Birchall. Enjoying his best season in the competition. Comes across the face of goal, and Murphy takes the mark. 13-7 Geelong. Hawthorn 13-5. Short one marked by Hodge. Now the margin at three-quarter time was 17 points Hawthorn's way. Geelong led at the previous two changes. It's been a roller coaster. Hodge out of the back pocket goes looking for Rioli. Takes the mark. Flirted with the idea of going. He's on the defensive 50. Looks across the ground. He wants to get the distance. Goes very long. Guerra was the target. Up. Couldn't take the mark. Coming through, Bartel did brilliantly. Slapped it to Kelly.
Well, Kelly's kick inside 50 was met by Suckling. He tried to square the kick to the opposite half-back flag, where it's going to be taken by Mitchell. Just got it off the half volley. Dangerous kick. Murphy was able to evade both Taylor Hunt and Podsy Adley. Switches it back out to the northern side of the ground as Luke Hodge comes through for the mark. Now he's going to look for an option up the wing. Has Mitchell short. A bit longer though is Shields. He's been outstanding tonight, Liam Shields. Decides to play on. Links the handball to Bruce. Takes on Harry Taylor. 55 out. Smothered off the boot by Enright. Bruce got back onto it. Handball's over his head. Shields wanted it. Pushed off the contest by Taylor. Corey comes up with it. Little handball.
Enright smother. Fantastic.
Ottens along the wing. High kick. Podsy Adley goes up for the mark. Off a hop, skip and a jump. Completes the grab. A fair way from home though. Takes a contested mark in front of Schoenmakers.
He really set himself to take that mark too. It was an important one. Hawthorn had the players on the deck. He kicks it towards half forward. Another spectacular mark, this time from Selwood. Selwood marking that ball right on the 50 at the punt road end. Left half forward flank. Side up by 2 points. Looking down towards full forward, giving Podsy Adley time to get back down there. Kicks the long ball. It's working its way back. Hit the post. Well, to all intents and purposes, it was going to miss to the left-hand side, but it started to work back left to right and hit the post just above the fat bit. So the margin is out to 3 points. Geelong 13-8, 86. Hawthorn 13-5, 83 on the Stockdale and Lego scoreboard.
So just under 8 minutes plus time on remaining in this one. Long penetrating kick down the centre corridor for the Hawks. Going up to the mark. Renoff comes off hand. Shields roves. Trying to get a kick forward all by himself though is Andrew Mackie to take the grab. Kicks it back into the centre of the ground. Enright comes around on the arc. Kicks on the right toward right half forward. Wanted Stevie J. Now Johnson just stood there and going back with the flight of the ball. Savage took the mark. Did well. Kicks back out to the wing. Trying to get onto it down there with Suckling. Intercepted though. Hawthorn somehow came up with it. Birchall swooped through. Kicks toward half forward. Bruce gets there. Tackled by Enright. Bruce got a handball backwards. What did Burgoyne? Skids off the ground. Mackie the pick up at right half back. Kicks back to the wing and Steve Johnson takes the mark. Centre wing out of side.
Enright and Scarlett holding firm there. Hard to beat in that situation. Johnson having a lot to say and then makes Selwood really work to take a mark just inside the boundary line. He virtually squared the ball to Selwood. Selwood goes down the line. Bartel's up in front. Couldn't take the mark. It falls 3 behind. Stokes is there. They're outnumbered Geelong. 3 Hawks around the footy. Comes to Suckling. Tries to hand pass it down the boundary. and getting across was Stokes, and did very well. Kept his eye on the footy, wasn't distracted, controlled it, took it out of bounds, and we've got a boundary throw in.
Gee, those senior Geelong guys are lifting, Dennis. Selwood, Chapman, here he is.
Here's Big of the Devil on cue. Chapman pulls it back. It's still deep in the pocket. He was trying to get more of an angle on that, but Hawthorn forced to spoil it across the boundary line. So a dangerous throw-in coming up for the Hawks beside the behind post, punt road end, only a couple of metres around.
3-point ball game. Geelong having won their last 10. Hawthorn looking to end their losing streak against the Cats. Ball spins back into play. Ball all wrapped up with James Kelly. He can't be pinged. Umpire will come in and reset play. 25 out from goal for the Cats at the punt road end. Ottens just getting in position. Renoff. Bounce. Favoured Renoff. Third man up. Bartel. Stevie J just socketed it out of nowhere. Got a fair bit of height onto it, but it was more just something he was looking for, a little bit of lady luck offline. And a 4-point ball game now in favour of the Cats. 13-9-87. Hawthorn 13-5-83. Stockdale and Lego scoreboard. 22 and a half minutes gone, final quarter.
Well, it was Bartel that time who went third man up, and that seemed to have worked for them so far in this last quarter, and nearly got another score with some freakish ability from Stevie Johnson.
Well, what that freakish ability has done is put the ball in the hands of Suckling. Suckling generally uses it well, and this one's no exception. Comes to Schoenmakers, looks back towards the middle. Oh, terrific effort going back with the flat of it, Johnson. It was intended for Lewis. Johnson got a hand to it. Spills to Mackey. Mackey drives it inside the forward 50, and Suckling takes a tumbling mark. Players really lifting now. The game on the line. 4 points the difference. Geelong on top, and Suckling. I just sung his praises, and his last kick was a beauty, but this one he's trying to angle it back to the opposite pocket, put it out of bounds on the full. Now I think the umpire insisting it comes back. It's been short past infield to Ling, but the umpire demanding the ball come back to Bartel. Bartel is lining up out of bounds. He's virtually back against the fence at right angles to the goal. Right full forward pocket. You've seen other blokes do this before. They come on the angle. No, he's decided to go in more conventional check side fashion, and he misses to the near side. So the lead is out to 5 points, and dare I say it, 5 points. Easy to get a draw from here.
You just had to mention it.
Yeah, one of those variables.
We've had enough of those already this season. Dangerous kick back into play from Suckling. Marked by Sewell. Links the handball. Birchall. Menzel gives chase. Suckling receives a handball under pressure. And so much pressure, in fact, he wanted to handball to Guerra. Out of bounds. Boundary throw in. Still in Geelong's attacking half of the ground. 60 metres around from its goal. Geelong 13-10-88. Hawthorn 13-5-83. Boundary throw in. Vardy. Third man up. Lewis palmed it down. Goes back toward the boundary line. We'll do it all again. Cracker barrel. Rowan Connolly.
Gee, it's tense down here. The spectators, players, coaches. Alistair Clarkson behind me just despairing at a couple of critical errors. Everyone's on edge.
Shane Bondi just pointed out to me 14 inside 50s to 4 this quarter Geelong's way.
So Cats with all the ascendancy. Hawthorn trail by just 5 points, though. They have it centre wing out of sight as Burgoyne chips into the centre. Cyril Rioli has plenty of space. Got it off the half volley. Little toe poker of a kick toward half forward. Wanted Bruce, but Taylor Hunt comes back. Takes possession. Kicks out wide. Kelly takes the mark. We don't know how long's remaining. Not your network doing the game tonight, Den.
No, 5 minutes actually. They've just gone to that red stuff.
Did it go?
Little pass.
Didn't hear it.
Kelly short to Scarlett. Has it at centre half back. Comes back out to the wing. Another Hawthorn player down. This time Guerra.
What happened to Guerra?
Now the umpires had to stop play just as Hawthorn moved it forward through Shields.
And he's going to ball it up. So
what happened?
Yeah, but
Selwood was the closest player.
Gee, he looks pretty groggy too, Dennis. Coming off now.
I reckon he got a bump from Selwood because as Guerra came off, he went straight for Selwood and gave him a bump in return.
Umpire meantime bounces it down, taken by Mitchell across to Rioli. Rioli the high ball towards half forward, marked by Josh Hunt. Moments ago Rioli had the ball in the middle. He should have gone long. He went short with a rather injudicious kick. Had two men running deep on the far side. Rioli didn't spot them. Now it's with Taylor at centre half back as Hunt went back to him, and Hunt Gets the favour returned as Taylor kicks it to him. He's forward of left half back, comes down the boundary on the value of Bartel. Wonderful aerialist. Takes the mark. He's lifted certainly since late in the second term. Kicks towards the pocket. Podsiadly. Juggled attempt at the mark. Rioli bounces out of trouble. Goes very short with a kick. No mark paid. Mitchell, as a result, put under pressure. Kicks it out of the 50. Well done, Bartel. Gave it to Wattens to Selwood. Centering ball, but the umpire is paying a free kick.
It's against Bartel to Gibson.
Yes, right on the defensive 50. So the ball has gone 30 metres away. Gibson getting the kick.
So Josh Gibson has it at right half back. We've gone 27 minutes into the final term. It's the Cats by 5 points. Gibson wants to go long up toward the wing, setting himself underneath. It was Renoff. Slipped at the crucial moment. Harry Taylor able to take the mark.
Gee, Jono, you just feel one goal's going to kill this game for Geelong, but they've got to take one of these opportunities.
They certainly do, and this is it with a long ball into Ottens.
Taylor goes long toward left half forward. On the target, went up for the mark, couldn't complete it. Off hands, Vardy, the fall of the ball. Tackled by Osborne, ball right up against the boundary line. Puopolo, little handball, wanted to get it off to Savage, but another boundary throw in. Still wing half forward for the Cats. 5-point ball game in favour of Geelong.
And that was a good result, a win for Geelong right there. Hawthorn goalless in this term as Geelong were in the third. After the boundary throw in, Lewis is tackled strongly by Johnson. Spills across to Sewell, went back to Lewis. Finds a man standing off the pack, that's Mitchell. Hard ball to be won midfield. Bruce brushed aside by Scarlett. Scarlett took the mark in the centre circle. Plays on, goes wide. Taken by Menzel. Feeds it off to Ling. Ling drives it out towards right half forward. Mark is taken by Stokes. Now an expired time. It's 28 and a half minutes gone. Short one to the pocket. Oh, wonderful courage, Selwood. Players coming up at the ball. Selwood coming across the face of the pack. They were making a hard lead, those two. One trying to cover it.
Hawks haven't scored this quarter. They've only been forward 4 times. Geelong, this will be their 17th inside 50. 3 goals for. It won't be a long quarter.
Guerra still stuck on the bench too, guys, and they've had a good look at his cheekbone jaw area.
That'll be interesting to see what flows from that. Selwood, the man we think was involved, has the ball right on the boundary. Will he go at goal? Well, he has, and he's missed everything.
Just needed a score, at least.
That's right. So 5 points the difference. Hawthorn get the football. They have to go the length of the ground. We've played 29 minutes.
About a minute, I reckon.
So it's going to be Savage to bring it back into play. Has it in the left back pocket. Goes long up toward the wing. Players converge underneath. Comes off hands. Kelly, the fall of the ball. Had it intercepted. It should be a free kick to the Hawks. It's going to be Hodge to take it. So he has it at left half back. Little short pass. Not a lot of time remaining. They got to move it. Birchall. Not sure where to go. Goes short and lateral.
You've got to go long.
That's what the fans are thinking. They don't want this. Clock continuing to count down. Murphy switches play back out to the northern side of the ground. Underneath it, Schoenmakers gets a handball off. Suckling moves it along the northern wing. He wanted Lewis, marked though by Scarlett. He gets a kick away, intercepted by Rioli. He can come around on the left. Wanted to sell a bit of candy. Instead chips it into the centre of the ground. Mark is taken by Whitecross. He switches play back out to the outer side. Birchall takes the mark, gets around Milburn. One bounce, 60 from home, inside 50. Buddy goes up for it. It comes off hands. But the Hawks have it. Left forward pocket. We've gone 30 minutes and 20 seconds. It's the Cats who lead by 5 points.
That was gutsy by Harry Taylor. Peeled off his man. Third man up, knocked it away. Franklin after the boundary throw in, tries to give it to Shields. Ball about 25 metres out from Hawthorn's attacking goal of the city end. Big pack. And the umpire calls for it. And the clock stops. Bounce down.
This is a big ball right here.
I'll say.
This is it.
No one forward of the centre for Geelong, as you'd expect. A lot of them back in Hawthorn's attacking 50. There's the bounce. 5 points the difference. Geelong in front. Going up as the third man. Lewis knocked it down only as far as Taylor of Geelong. He couldn't control it. In goes Burgoyne looking for a free kick. Grabbed by Kelly. Boots it out of there. Mark taken on the outer side by Schoenmakers. He's a long kick. He loads up. Takes something off the kick. Inside the forward 50. Crowd want to push in the back, but the mark is played ground. The lead was Franklin, went to ground. Nothing doing. Mackey took the mark. He was the third man in that contest. He drives to the outer side. High ball. There's the siren. They've done it again, Geelong. 17 points down at three-quarter time. They held Hawthorn goalless in the last quarter. They stay undefeated. They win by 5 points at the MCG.
We are Geelong. We're always on the ball. We play the game as it should be played. At home or far away. Our banners fly high from north to dark. Down at Gardenia Park.
Just wait for the replays of that push in the back against Buddy Franklin with 10 seconds left on the clock. It's all hindsight now. Geelong by 5 points. James Podsiadly set it up in the first half with 6 goals. Steve Johnson ended the night with 2 for the Hawks. It was that man, Buddy Franklin. He starred 4 goals for him, but Geelong still undefeated. They're winners by 5 points.
The greatest team of all. We are Geelong. We're always on the ball. We play the game as it should be played. At home or far away. Our banners fly high from dawn to dark. Down at Gardenia Park.
What a night for 63,476 here at the MCG. Make no mistake, Hawthorn is a real force in 2011. And the number of times we've just seen that Foxtel replay in the last 5 minutes, incredible. Den?
I think you'd want it. If you're a Hawthorn fan, you'd want it.
Brad?
I agree with Dennis. Would never not agree with Dennis.
That was a free kick, I think. Well, it wasn't, but it should have been.
It will be highly talked about over the next 24 hours. But the Cats 13-10-88 defeating Hawthorn 13-5-83. Just those other goal kickers tonight. Podsiadly 6, Steve Johnson 2, singles to Varco, Menzel, Stokes, Chapman and Vardy for the Hawks. 4 Lance Franklin, the rest were singles. Lewis, Osborne, Young, Sewell, Savage, Rioli, Renoff, Whitecross and Bruce. But make no mistake, this was an absolute Saturday night classic, and those close margins between these two sides continue. But even more than that, Geelong 6 consecutive wins against Hawthorn since the 2008 grand final, which of course the Hawks won. They walk off the ground. Well, they've got their heads down, but they should probably be held high because that was a momentous effort. And in the end, it probably came down to the last 10 seconds in which they could have won it.
And they paid a price too, of course, Jared Roughhead. That's a big loss, and probably he would have been so handy in those last couple of minutes as well. But Geelong, how many is that now, Bondi, for Europcar by under a goal this season? It must be 3 or 4, is it?
It must be about 3 or 4. I'm just going to check that one for you, Dennis. But
no hurry.
Also, it means that Chris Scott now holds the record. He takes over from Johnny Leonard as being the most successful coach on debut with 11 consecutive victories.
So it's all blue sky from here. Who do they play next week? He can run this record up.
St Kilda back here on Saturday night.
Well, not a foregone conclusion, but you would think it's just impossible to keep playing at this level, but they're doing it. That was just fantastic.
So we'll go down to the rooms in a sec. We'll get the song. We'll chat to some of the star players from the Cats tonight as we go into After the Game for Rock of Ages. It's now playing at the Comedy Theatre. And if you want to see one show this winter, that is the one to see. 96900 693 outside of Melbourne, 13 32. Get on the line too. We'd love to hear from Geelong supporters, those that had their hearts in their mouths in the last few minutes, and also Hawthorn supporters, just where your side has come, because it's been a momentous recovery. After falling after the 2008 grand final, they're back and a real force in 2011.
Well, of course, the story will be, I think, tomorrow, a couple of things. Selwood, that'll be interesting what happened to Guerra down in front of our commentary position, and then Buddy Franklin's non-free kick for what appeared to be in replay, a push in the back, and I suppose the question then is, would Buddy have kicked it?
Let's go down to the room, John Connolly.
Just coming in now, boys. I have to say, very, very quiet. Not many spectators around. Players have traipsed in. So I guess it's business as usual when you've won as much as they've in the last few years. But that was another good one, and another against the old enemy as well. And I have to say, very low key, very low key. Here we go. Just don't crack it up now.
The greatest team of all. Hey, we are Geelong. We're always on the ball. We play the game as it should be played. Hey, at home or far away. Our band is flying high from home to dark.
Yeah, I've heard more enthusiastic versions, boys, but they've, I don't know if they've got out of jail there or they probably deserve to win in the course of play. I can't quite make up my mind. I know what you think, Jono, but any win over Hawthorn for Geelong's a good one. They're bringing someone over for us in about 2 seconds. We've actually got Matthew Stokes. Got him right here. Good on you, Matthew. Thanks for joining us. Well, I have to say that was a fairly subdued rendition of the theme song. You're not happy with the win over Hawthorn?
We're always happy to win those close games, but I think it's a long year and there's not really much to celebrate now. We won the game, but I don't think we played anywhere near as good as we could, and I think the boys are a bit disappointed. But it's hard to get a win these days, so take that.
It was a real game of bursts, wasn't it? I mean, you guys made the early running, then they got on top, you got on top, they got on top, and you finished off. You just happened to be in front when it all finished. I guess, would that be the major bugbear, just the lack of a four-quarter effort today?
I think the boys are pretty stuffed, to be honest. Not much emotion at all, and boys aren't talking that much. So, yeah, it's just a tough game, and credit to them, and we have so much respect for Hawthorn, and we always have good contests, so tonight was no different.
Well, we've got Brad Johnson upstairs, ready to fire a few at you, Matthew. Brad?
Matty, congratulations on tonight's win, another close one. But what was said at three-quarter time, was it about getting some dominance back through the stoppage area? Because in the end, that flowed on to 17 inside 50s to 6, which in the end was enough to get you guys across the line.
Yeah, I reckon we felt that the stoppages, we were getting them away, but we were only getting little handballs out, so we just wanted to kick it a little bit more out of the contest and get it forward. And Posy was on fire, and I think most of the boys looked a bit dangerous tonight when it went forward. So if we could go a bit more quicker than we were in the third quarter, we would have back our chances, and we did. And it wasn't a high scoring last quarter, but it was in our half most of the game, and that's how we want to play.
And another area of the game that was very good for you guys was restricting Hawthorn's uncontested marks. Was that spoken about a fair bit during the week? You've been able to keep them to 84, and I'm sure anything under 100 for the Hawks is a fantastic effort.
Well, a lot of planning goes into the game, and the coaches watched Hawthorn so much, and they just said to us basically, if we stop them from marking, we'll go a long way to winning the game, and we did that, and we're pretty happy. So I guess the coach is probably going to take a bit of credit for that.
Matt Dennis, committee upstairs, just a question. It perplexes a lot of football supporters about guys kicking goals and coming off the ground. Now, it happens a lot. It happened with Podsy Adley when he got his sixth just before, 5 minutes before half-time. Now, is that his call? Because he was hot, as you say. I mean, he was smoking hot down there in the goal square, and he ran off the ground. Well, he jogged off the ground. It didn't return, and I didn't think it was necessarily a coincidence that Hawthorn enjoyed a good 5 minutes running up to half-time. Whose call is that to come off the ground?
It's the players. We have set rotations. We don't have you got to come off at the 6 minute mark. It's you got to come off twice in a quarter, and everyone gets a fair go. And it's not really no one ever gets called to come off. It's more on their own person, how they're feeling. If they're feeling a bit tired, they come off.
Well, were you tempted? Did you see him go past you as he headed towards the interchange? Did you say, "Don't be an idiot, get back in the goal square"?
Well, I would have said definitely stay back there and kicking goals for us, because he was on fire, the Polish boy.
He was terrific.
Just one more from me, Matthew. It's amazing. It's 11 wins on the trot now, and yet you're never happy. I mean, as a side, Chris Scott never seems happy. There's always areas you can improve on. How good are you guys going to be when you get everything right?
Scotty's never happy, but that's a good thing. I think that's it's good for a group. I think we're pretty professional that we don't really judge ourselves on win losses. We judge ourselves on the way we played, and sometimes we can come in and we won by 4 goals, and we're not quite happy the way we played, and to that's more important, and that's where I think the maturity of the group is showing, is that we know we're undefeated this year, but I'm never happy with how we're going.
Matthew, just shame to get us upstairs. One last question from us. The youngsters at Geelong, the depth is just incredible. Again tonight, the likes of Menzel, Duncan and Vardy taking another step up against a resurgent Hawks side. How important are they to this side as the side as a whole gets older? You've got youngsters like that coming through.
Well, we do have a lot of old blokes, so the old fellas need a bit of a rest every now and again. So the young boys are more important, just to refreshing the group and I guess keep everyone on toe and realise the spots aren't guaranteed. If we played our most senior, probably 22. Those young boys probably wouldn't get in, but they deserve their spot. And Scotty made it clear at the start that he wanted to play the young players, but wasn't going to give them games. And to their credit, they all deserve their chance, and they're all playing extremely well. And Taylor Hunt with the one play in the last quarter was really good for us, and just little things like that's just encouraging for the future, I guess.
Matty made the point, not necessarily that happy. I tell you what'll make you happy when you watch the replay of Lonergan tracking Franklin to the ball in the last 30 seconds. That'll make you happy. You might have dodged a bullet there, my man.
Oh, that's all right. It's when you get some, you lose some.
That's right.
That's the way it is in Dennis, I think.
That's the right. Yeah, good on you, mate. Thanks very much for your time.
Well played, Matthew.
Yeah, well done.
Matthew, just keep the headset on just for 1 sec, because you say you win some. Well, you've won some tonight. The Ozito cordless drill and multi-function tool with thanks to Ozito. They're available from Bunnings. Give it a go with Ozito. How do you go with the old handyman work, Matt?
Nah, shocking. I'll drive. I'll bring my old man from Darwin down so he can do some housework, or Otto can come around, the big-headed bloke.
You got the tools to have them do the work, mate. Great game tonight. Well done.
Thanks very much, boys.
Terrific.
Matthew Stokes.
At least the players are honest. They don't shy away from the fact they're not good with the tools, but they know plenty of people who are.
Fantastic. What did Matthew Stokes end up with tonight, Europe Cup?
He was pretty good. He kicked a goal for the match and finished with 16 disposals, 8 contested possessions, a couple of inside 50s, also a goal assist. So pretty all-round performance tonight by Matthew Stokes. Just quickly wrapping up the